Well, here we are.
I just saw that Carrie Lake is getting so far losing. I know that it's early, but anybody see that stuff?
Way wasn't a big part of it, but it's
yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's
early.
very
Yeah, it's early.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, "Whoa, that's weird." It looked like she was losing already, but I know that there's a lot more to count for her, right?
I actually haven't seen. I've been following the Arizona Secretary of State's website, and I've refreshed, and I've not seen an update for an hour. Like they put out an initial, I think what is 8 o'clock their time of what they have in, and I don't know if they are updating once an hour or what, but nothing has updated since an hour ago on the Secretary of State's website for Arizona.
Can I just say thank God that Stacey Abrams did not win in Georgia? Oh my gosh.
Right.
She lost. Yeah, thank God.
So I'm watching also the Michigan governor race and House races there.
How are those going?
Let me get back to the governor's page. They have 30.7% in, I think. It is really odd reporting. You can't look at it from the Michigan Secretary of State's website, but you can look at it county by county, but you got to go to each county by county. So I just pulled up Detroit Free Press, their website, and what sucks is how they say it is 30.72 estimated vote counted, which I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that's precincts reported, but it's an odd way of reporting that. And I just lost that page. Gosh darn it. It's closer than I think what I think it would be at this point, but let me pull that up again. All right, now it is 31.59 in. Whitmer has 52.7%. Tudor Dixon has 45.7. So it's about 815,600 versus 707,000 votes.
So Tudor's getting not doing too well, or is she?
I don't know, because I'm trying to like drill it down to what exactly has been reported, and I'm doing that through House districts. There's just so much that has not been reported yet. So
Okay, I'll be able to keep up on some stuff because I've got two different channels showing races, so I'll be able to jump in on some things. If I see what's going on there, I'll chime in.
Yeah, and I'm watching it too. If something really breaks in the Michigan one, I'll let you know. Minnesota's reporting is going extremely slow. It is very slow tonight. My county is not. I'm in Anoka County in the metro area. Nothing's been reported.
Weird.
Yeah, it is really weird. Hennepin County did a major dump. Hennepin County might be done for all I know. Let's see. Hennepin County is 97.2 precincts reported, which is like crazy early, I think. And Ramsey County next door has not reported anything. And so Minneapolis is in Hennepin County, St. Paul's in Ramsey County, nothing in there. Yeah, it is really slow reporting in Minnesota.
Well, we saw in Florida, Ron DeSantis and Marco Rubio almost blew out their opponents. Did you see that? That's the early reporting, because you were talking about early reporting, Kelly.
Yes. Sorry, I did see some of that. I have been trying to keep up on some of it. Do we have? Are we watching? Have somebody watching some other things as well?
Yeah, I have New York Times up.
Oh, cool. Go ahead, Mitty.
No, there's nothing that hasn't already been touched on that's like new. So we're still I mean, their famous needle is back up. It was broken, but it's back, the needle gives me a lot of anxiety, but it's okay. Um, right now they're projecting a 50-50 Senate and 209-226 House Republicans.
You saw that Greg Abbott beat Beto O'Rourke big time.
Yeah. Oops.
I saw that one too. Yeah, 57%. He beat him 57% to 42% over Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting because it does hit the polls about right, which is kind of comforting, I guess.
Has anybody seen anything on the Lee Zeldin, Kathy Hochul race?
It doesn't look like it'll be a Zeldin flip, but let me look at it might be closer than it should have been. Let's see, hold on.
I'm seeing a couple tweets that JD Vance has been.
Yes, I think that's right.
JD Vance has been declared the winner in Ohio.
I think maybe some places have.
Did
So
he?
yeah, I think that at least one place has called it for him.
Yay, that's a victory for me because I told Nikki JD Vance was going to win, and he's like, no, he's going to lose.
Did he
He's
think
an
he wasn't?
awful.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't think he was going to win.
So Kathy Hochul is at 58.3 and Zeldin's at 41.7.
Oh, man.
40,
Well, I mean,
49% in. So still stuff to count.
So they still got a few to go, but it looks like she's going to win that one.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. Katz, I know you're keeping an eye on some Washington stuff, right? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome our great regular forum co-host Katz. Welcome, Katz.
Hi, everybody. Good to be here on this election night. I haven't actually looked at Washington State yet because didn't they just close at 8?
Yeah, it'll be a little bit before they start.
Yeah.
Before we know anything.
Although I did see in Florida that Matt Gaetz also was declared the winner. At least what I'm watching, JD Vance has not been declared the winner, but he has a fair lead. So it looks like that should happen shortly. And I'm a JD Vance fan, so I'm happy about that.
Jason, if you don't mind, our friend Matt from Rhode Island is in.
Yeah, I love Matt. Matt's awesome. Yeah. What's going on, Matt?
Very disappointed. Very shocked.
Kalis, right?
No, so let me just discuss this real quick. Well, I expected Kalis to lose. That wasn't my biggest concern. Because again, I was pretty disappointed that she did lose. Because again, I put in work in her campaign. But what was very shocking is that Fung lost. And again, the problem is that the polling this election, I would say, was decently accurate within Fung's district. The problem is that many people overestimate Fung. I had it as a tilt R because, again, given the benefit of the doubt, he could probably win. I should have put it as a tilt deep because, again, that's just how it is with every single election that Fung has ran in 2014 and 2018. The polls always overestimate Alan Fung, and it doesn't make any sense at all. The fact that it was at 97% reporting, Fung was up by 1. 99% reporting, Fung was up by 3. And then once 100% reporting came in, somehow 6% swing to the left, Magaziner wins by 3. It makes completely no sense. Everybody was in shock at the watch party. And I thought Fung would actually pull it off, especially since he was leading all night. But as expected, many people thought that Fung would win by a landslide, like 8 points, 5 points, and those people are stupid. And I told them that this would be a toss-up race, and it could go either or, and I was correct. Though I predicted the district wrong, sure, but the entire race, I've had Magaziner winning that district until the end of the election cycle. So, I mean, it's just, it's just one of these nights where you get some shocking results, and it's not really good here. But I will say that within the state senate, we did gain one seat in the state senate, which is absolutely good news. That might actually go into a recount, maybe. Also, there's a district. So NASCAR. I don't know if you know David Stone. Do you know David Stone, NASCAR, or he's in the sport?
Whoops, sorry. Where is he?
No,
Yeah, that guy that's in spaces with us.
yeah. David Stone. You know the guy from Rhode Island on 22nd.
Oh, yes.
So he lost.
Yep.
He lost his race by 600 votes.
Oh, no.
Marie Hopkins. We also had her in the space once. I saw her. I actually met David too. And David's really mad about the mail-in margins. But Marie Hopkins, she lost by only 17 votes, so that's going to go into a runoff. They're probably going to bring in lawyers to do the whole runoff because again, it's very close in the state legislature. Then the District 21. So we could get a potential pickup, but I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm just very depressed about Rhode Island. But yeah, I'm just gonna, go back. Probably just leave for the night and probably go to bed. I'm just very tired and yeah.
Hey, I'm glad you gave an update, Matt.
Yeah, and if and hang in there. I mean, I know Rhode Island
Well,
is.
yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I know that's.
I'm sorry for interrupting, Jason, but I'm just gonna point out that I'm not dooming. I think that the rest of the night will go fantastic. I know there are some races. J.R. Majewski lost. Caroline Levitt lost. The 13th district we lost. That was an actual flip, by the way, for the Democrats. So we only have 3 gains in the U.S. House. So I still expect Republicans to win the House. I still expect Republicans to win the Senate at the end of the day. But maybe not what we expected. We know that Hassan is declared the winner of New Hampshire. But other than that, yeah, I think that's really all I have to mention. But until then, I'll probably just step off.
Well, thank you for coming in, Matt. I appreciate you. I like you being in our spaces and stuff. And thanks for coming in and bringing what's going on. I'm sorry that Rhode Island is blue. We live in a very blue state here too, and we're hoping that Tiffany Smiley can pull something out. But we'll see. I mean,
I would
I'm
curb
not.
her enthusiasm a little. Don't want to be disappointed, but
I said I'm hoping. I didn't.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I didn't say. I said we're hoping. We live in a very blue state here. We have a lot of crap that goes on in this state. So, but yeah, no. I just wanted to thank Matt for coming in and sharing, and thanks NASCAR for pulling him up here. Cats, go ahead. You got something to add to this, and then we'll call on Brock. And then if Mitty, if you can save one seat, I'm waiting for my friend Jordan. When you see him, he'll request a mic, but the other speakers can go out. But just save one if you can.
Yeah, Jordan. Was his name Jordan or?
Yeah, his name is Jordan.
Okay.
He should be in any minute now.
Yeah, Jason, I thought you might be interested in this race. And poor Nikki's not here to defend himself, but he razzed Garrison and told him that the incumbent governor of Oklahoma, Garrison's state, was going to lose by a great deal, and that he was one of the most horrible governors in the country. I don't know anything about the guy, so I can't say, but he has been pronounced the winner, and it was by a big margin over whoever was running against him.
That's hilarious, Cats. You know what I did? Garrison posted about Stitt winning, and I made a whole. I apologize for Nikki to Garrison. You should go read it. I posted it up on Twitter. You guys should look on Garrison's page. I made an apology. I made an apology for Nikki that Nikki would probably never do. So I had fun with it.
I know.
Well,
watching the results are coming in.
Oh, we should give Nikki crap about the JD Vance one, because remember he said that he was lazy and worthless and that he was not going to win. And they just declared him a winner on what I'm watching.
Definitely.
Washington
JD
results are
Vance.
starting to come in.
Cool.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Eli. What's up?
Washington results are starting to come in. It's too early to tell, but
What you
yeah, they're
got,
starting to
Eli? Anything?
get what is what? What was
What's the
question?
numbers? Go ahead and throw out some numbers.
Here, 1 second.
Yeah.
Check. What's Washington Senate? Washington Senate is 40% in, 59-41. 59-41. What? Murray, with 40% in.
Oh
Hey,
boy.
hey, Jason,
Yes,
can I
yes.
just make a suggestion? I'm already getting messages of how is this going to run tonight? Brock has got his hand up, and I know we're kind of watching different speakers coming in and things like that. So do you want to talk about how you want to run your space tonight?
Yeah, so normally we do the forum with hands, Cats and I do. But ladies and gentlemen, as long as we're respectful, I talked with my two co-hosts before this, and you guys can jump in and speak. Just don't interrupt. Like, don't if there's too much echoing, I'm just gonna all mute everybody, and we'll just start. We're gonna try to be respectful with this because everybody is looking at stuff. So, Brock, you can just jump in and we'll do it that way. And then if it gets out of hand, I'll mute and kind of reset us. But we're just more having a discussion tonight. It's not so much segmented. And I talked with Mitty and Kelly beforehand on the phone about this, and we figured out how to do this tonight to where we can just have fun in a relaxed setting and do that. So just you're more than welcome to just as soon as somebody's done, but if try not to interrupt somebody too much or Kelly or Mitty might even say something about that. We want to hear what everybody's got to say, but yeah, just have fun with it, guys. We can it's relaxed. We don't have to raise our hands unless it gets out of hand,
Okay,
Happy
so
to be here, Jason.
What was that, Sean?
I said happy to be here.
I love it, bro. I'm glad you're here. Oh, by the way, Eli's predictions of Patty Murray and Tiffany Smiley. Yeah, I mean, I knew that might be a jump out start to that. I hope it changes, but I'm not getting my hopes up because this is Washington State, just like my Rhode Island friends. So I really want to see a change, but we know how things go out here. As Seattle goes, so does the rest of the state.
Jason, Brock wanted to speak.
Yeah, go ahead, Brock.
no, I just want to quickly say regarding two states of the U.S. Senate, for Pennsylvania, you do have a Fetterman lead, but the one county Oz is doing noticeably well is Chester County. This is a county which went to Biden by almost 20. Oz is down by 6. And then in Georgia, Henry County, which is just outside the suburbs, it's almost all in. I think there might be some absentee and mail-ins, but I'm not sure. I gotta check. It is breaking for Warnock by 6. This is a county Biden won by quite a substantial margin. So just a couple counties for the margins and stuff.
Cool. Thank you. Go ahead, Eli.
There's more a question for the Republicans here. Like, what went wrong? Like this is like the worst performance for a party out of power, like probably since
Eli, a little early. I mean,
I know. I'm just like
Yeah, I agree. I think
Eli,
it's a bit too
Eli,
early.
I would just caution against what could go wrong, because in some of these states you're seeing a big dump of Dems pulling ahead because they're counting absentees and mail-ins first.
But
That's
even the fully counted states,
election day, and the heavily GOP ballots are being counted at the end.
Only in some states, like Virginia, that's fully
in
counted.
Pennsylvania,
Virginia's already fully counted.
first.
Like if you look at every important House race, like Ohio 13th, which counts mail-in first. Dems flipped Ohio 13th, which is an R+3 district. Just every House district that Republicans should easily win, like they're losing. It's a VA7. VA2 is gonna be really close. Republicans are gonna win it, but barely. And this is R+6. VA7, they're gonna lose it by 2. Just look at every race that's already fully counted. It's really just or New Hampshire Senate is another one. That's it's just not this is.
I think it's
Yeah.
early too, like they were saying. Sean, do you have anything to add to that? Because you're involved in this stuff a lot. Do you know anything about,
I've been watching the new the New Hampshire one, and that one really disappointed me because I thought there was a good shot there. But I
Yeah,
know for
leave
that
it to
one, you
us.
understand that there's the Libertarian Party there is they're ruthless. So they probably stole about 2% of the vote on that one. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, even the Senate race though, that's not even very close.
Yeah, this is it's not like a red tsunami.
It's not even I don't even say a red wave. It's like a ripple.
But I think we're still going to have a majority.
Yeah, but it's maybe like high 220s versus what most people thought was like high 240s. Or
I'm happy with the majority. We worked really hard for it. We put a lot of effort on the ground. But I guess maybe we got our hopes a little too high. I think we always do during elections. I mean, it happens.
And there was also Dems were underestimating polls too.
Yeah, Dems are underestimating polls. But I'm happy. It's looking all right in North Carolina. I mean, that's good. I worked on that one, so as long as that one holds, I'll be okay. I think.
Yeah, it's and then we should hopefully get Nevada soon. But if anyone's following Kansas, that's coming down to the wire.
Right. It's also looking. I'm probably gonna be working in Georgia, I think.
Yeah. If anyone's following Kansas Gov, that's a one to watch right now. That when I last checked, it was like +3 with like still 15%. +3 Kelly with like 15% left.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna win that bet, but I don't know if I have the heart to get Matt's money.
I don't think you have the heart to get Matt's money.
Val Demings conceded to Marco Rubio a couple of hours ago.
Freaking Dan Cox still hasn't conceded in Maryland. He lost by like 35 points. He says we're just doing a little worse than expected. Pretty funny.
He wouldn't start like no need to concede.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we're doing a little worse in Baltimore than we expected. We'll come with an update.
Breaking news, guys! Breaking news.
Bring it in.
Stacey Abrams has conceded.
Yay! She conceded this time.
Serious?
So she's been a governor for 4 years, and she finally conceded.
I know, right? It's crazy.
She didn't concede 4 years ago. She thought she was the governor the whole time.
She was just being fashionably late.
There you go, Kat.
Yeah, Hey, Jordan, welcome to the Conservative Political Forum. You got your computers up and everything?
Yeah, I've got my computer up. It took me like 6 different times to try and actually be able to like hear. I don't know. Every time I try and get on a space, I have to load it like 6 different times before I can hear everyone talking.
I hate that glitch so much. Also, should I give Nikki a call to congratulate him on his win? I think that would
congratulate him for Garrison on his apology tweet that he sent out to Garrison that I actually sent for him.
No, I mean not by win. I don't mean like by win. I don't mean like the Democrats. I mean his ballot measure. He was working really hard on.
Yeah, he doesn't need any more like pumping up. He's fine. He'll be in later.
Yeah. Oh, he will be. That's good. That's good. That's crazy. Gaycon, how you doing, bro? How you feeling over there about some of these races?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys tonight?
Great. I'm so glad you're here, man. You got any thoughts on some of the races that are going on?
Yeah, sorry if the TV in the background's a little bit loud. I lived in New Mexico for like 7 years, and I'm just so angry that they voted back in Michelle Lujan Grisham as governor after she was basically she sexually assaulted someone, and they voted her back in. Like, I just can't with these people. She is a, excuse my language, see you next Tuesday.
Okay. That's the kind way to putting it. Anything to report, Mitty or Kelly updates?
Nothing really.
Nope, I don't.
Okay, we'll
Bennett
keep
in
an eye on
Colorado
things.
won. That's kind of not that surprising, but they called it out New York Times.
Who?
Bennett won in Colorado Senate.
Oh, okay. Shiloh and Katz have their hands raised. We'll go with Katz and then Shiloh.
So I've asked this question in here before, but I can't remember who answered it. I'm going to ask it again. So let's say the Republicans get the majority in the House and the Senate, okay? So will they have the power to keep Biden from doing stupid things? And if they pass laws, he can veto them. Can he just keep vetoing them and vetoing them
I'm going to take
forever?
this one. I'm going to take this one.
What's the deal? Okay.
Okay. So what happens is that let's say that the Republicans get the Senate and the House. They can like work together to do some laws and send them to his desk, and he can veto them. But what they should be doing is doing that and showing on the record that this president keeps vetoing stuff that they keep working to put on to try to help America. It's going to make them look worse. As far as like what they can do, they can do investigations, but Biden's still the president. But what they can do is, I think, am I correct, Sean, that they can stop some stuff that he's doing? If because he's got to get Congress involved in some things. Is that correct?
Like
they have the
executive
power.
orders. Like executive orders,
They can't stop his executive orders. The courts have to do that, but people can file lawsuits with those. Right? Am I right, Sean?
Yeah, you're right. I don't think the Congress can just overrule an executive order.
No. But they can at least they can work to they'll have some balance because he's got to get some things done through the Senate and the House. And if there's a majority Republicans in the Senate and the House, they can work on some stuff. And if he vetoes it, it makes him look bad. And so I was hearing from one of my favorite podcasters, Sean, I want to bring you in real quick on this. He said they should just keep the House and the Senate should just keep passing bill, keep bringing laws to his desk and watch him veto it because it will make his party and him look really bad. Is that correct? Don't you think so?
That's a great strategy. I think so too.
Yeah, so it would show, oh, look, they just passed this law. All the president needs to do is sign it. And if he vetoes it, it's going to look really bad.
Breaking news. Fox 9 is declaring Tim Walz the winner over Scott Jensen, and I don't know how they're doing that. So I am listening to a couple of friends
Probably
who are
comparing
talking
results from
about
previous years.
We're at 36% of the precincts reporting according to the Secretary of State's website.
You can call it from there because if you have some fully counted counties or precincts and you compare those to previous years, you can call by that. Like you can see how much over he is or how much over the break even he is, and he's probably significantly over the break even margin he needs per county in some of these fully counted counties. So that's probably how they're calling it, or if they have exit pollsters.
Shiloh, what's up?
I was just checking in on the races here in Washington, and Patty Murray is leading Tiffany Smiley 57 about-ish percent to 42%. Kathy Hochul and Gavin Newsom have been called on multiple news outlets as having won. And compared to where we were just a few hours ago, because I've been watching this highly all day, they've had some kind of hinky stuff going on in Maricopa County, and I was wondering if anybody had heard anything more on that, because I've seen a few videos of what's been going on at the polls with these voting machines.
Well, Carrie Lake was down to Hobbs, wasn't she, NASCAR? And you said that there was pause for a while. They're looking into that. Is that correct?
I'm sorry. Say that again. What's that?
Carrie Lake was losing to Hobbs, at least in the initial reporting.
She's still losing by a significant amount.
But it's 61% of the precincts have reported it's yeah, there is a significant difference here. I don't know what's going on. I don't like how the Secretary of State's website reports this, because I can't drill down. I'm trying to, and I can't. Oh wait, here we go. Here's by county.
Do
I
you have a New York
mean,
Times subscription?
I don't use New York Times. It's too confusing, and they often report Minnesota incorrectly.
Oh.
So I just go to Secretary of State's websites because that's where they should be getting their numbers from. I'm seeing, according to the Secretary of State's website, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counties have not reported any voting in Arizona. Now, Maricopa County, which is their biggest, has reported 96.5% of their precincts reporting. Kari Lake has 348,000 in some votes, and Katie Hobbs has 484. That's a significant difference there. So I'm not sure what still is out there.
There's a lot of votes to count in Arizona, though. I think this margin that's going on in Arizona is going to tighten up.
Hey, let me say this too. I wish I could share this in the space. I'm going to have to tweet it. So they've got, their website is really messed up. I drilled down to county. They've got a number of counties where it says 0% precincts reporting, yet they have vote counts. So I don't know what's going on.
Do they report absentee separately?
I don't know. Let me see if I can
I know
find.
Virginia was having that glitch.
So while you're looking that up, Michael, what's up, buddy? What do you have to add?
If there's, I'll go last, if that's okay.
You can just jump in at any time. So the rules in this tonight, guys, is as long as we're respectful. I mean, we can you got your hands raised, so we'll call on you the best we can. But you don't. Well, if you can chime in if you want. But Gaycon, what do you got?
Yeah.
I was just going to mention that Katie Hobbs, the one running against Kari Lake, is Secretary of State. So I don't trust anything that the Secretary of State of their website says. I'm sorry. So she should have backed down from that position.
Interrupt Gaycon here, but we have some breaking news from Garrett Archer. Maricopa is incoming, and it is election day votes. So we'll see how this margin tightens for Masters and Lake.
Washington Senate just got called.
Patty Murray?
Yeah.
That's stupid. That's annoying.
Oof.
I'm sorry, Jason.
That's okay. I hope Joe Kent wins. If Joe Kent wins, I'll at least be a little bit happy.
Just remember, Jason, there's room in Florida.
Yeah, I would love to.
I have Washington State House results so far.
Bring it.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
I can't.
Okay.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
So, hi, Nikki. This is the Washington State House. So the first district, the Democrat Delbene, I don't know how to say it, is beating the Republican Calaveri 63% to 36%, 59% in. In the second district, 48% of the vote in. The Democrat Larson is beating the Republican Matthews 62% to 37%. In the third district, which is 65% of the vote, the incumbent Glusenkamp Perez, the Democrat, unfortunately, at least at this moment, is beating the Republican Joe Kent 52% to 47%. And in the fourth district, which is where I am, the semi-rhino Republican Newhouse is beating the Democrat White 69% to 31%.
Do you mind if I jump in for just a second? Because I have to go back inside to my thing, but I just
Yeah,
wanted
go for it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I wish I could stay for longer, but you know how things are. What I just wanted to say, I appreciate all of you. I wish I could be part of this conversation. It's an interesting night here in Colorado, certainly. We've been waiting 45 minutes for the county clerk's website to update to give us the second results for the thing that I care about, but we were up by 16 points as of an hour or something ago, so I am really toasted right now. And
Oh no, danger.
Woo!
but good night overall. Senate's still in play. House looks like it's going not my way, but wish I could be here with all of you, and a good election night to those of you. We were talking tonight, just I want to say, my state legislator that I worked for a few years ago was saying how, you know, she's having a good night. She's winning with 75% of the vote, and but remarking, you know, she's in good company. Hugh McKean is winning with 100% of the vote tonight, even though he's dead. So last hurrah. Anyway, thank you all for being a part of this community and for giving me a chance to hang out with you on so many occasions. I wish I could be doing more of that tonight, but
Bye, Nikki.
Nikki,
All right.
have a drink for us. Have fun. Congratulations on
I
your.
will have a drink for each one of you who is.
All right.
Yay!
Hey, we appreciate you, Nikki.
Nikki, I need video confirmation of you doing a drink in my honor.
I will say. I promise.
Well,
right.
that goes for all of us. We expect you to be
Jordan has his hand up. Jordan's got some updates. Go ahead, Jordan.
I'm not specifically looking for updates, but I just wanted to kind of pose this as a question for everyone because it seems like.
Can I jump in really quick? There are updates. Hochul has been declared the winner by, I believe, by the AP in New York, defeating Lee Zeldin, and also the AP is declaring Tim Walz the winner in Minnesota, which I am telling you I've got some problems with. I get it. Eli had kind of explained that earlier, but I've only got 40% of the precincts in the state reporting, and some major counties have not been reported. The other thing I saw, hold on, where is it? Maggie Hassan has beaten Don Bolduc in New Hampshire. I just saw that come across.
Yikes. Yeah, it's what a night, right? So far. I mean, we're not too thrilled, but we'll be thrilled as we can be, I guess, right? Right, Kelly?
Sorry, what was that?
I said, what a night. We're not as thrilled as we can be, but we'll do our best to be thrilled, right?
Yeah. And you had some hands up. We're we're losing.
Jordan, I'm going to let Jordan bring his question to the room in, and then Michael after Jordan.
Yeah, so obviously I think there was a lot of just as you know discussion overall from people I was talking to and pundits and whatever else. You know, I thought that as far as what I can tell at least, not nearly as much movement as was expected. And for those on here that are, you know, I know we have a pretty decent mix, but those who are more right-leaning, do you think that maybe the consistent hammering down of, you know, insecurity of elections and things like that might have stifled turnout? Are you expecting any of these still waiting on higher percentages of reporting to go in your favor as far as ones that you're paying attention to specifically? And like anything that you're exceptionally surprised about? And then a comment just to say that I'll never trust a Washington state election, period, for any reason. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I understand where you're coming from, bro. Keep, you know, anybody got anything to respond to that before we go to Michael and Brock? Everybody still there? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, good. Whew, I was getting worried there for a second that the room was, that something might happen glitchy. So, anyways, does anybody have any comment about what Jordan said before we go on to Michael and Brock?
I totally agree with him. I think Washington elections are uh, something that I'm not going to say they're rigged, but there's something not right about how all voting by mail is done.
Yeah, it's weird. Michael, go ahead.
Hi. I just want to ask. Um. Oh gosh, I forgot my question. Okay, now I don't remember. Just out of curiosity, can we see what's going on in the 30th district of legislative district in Washington? If there's any, I'm not. I have no hopes in there. There's and those things winning out, but I just want to know if there's any movement in there.
Katz is our Washington update person. If you'll look into that, Katz, and then jump in when you find something on that, we'll look at that, Michael. We'll take a look.
So just to
And
verify, this is Michael, it's a local Washington state seat, the 38th district. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the 30th LD legislative district.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Kat, could you look into District 8? It's the Matt Larkin Kim Schreier race.
I already have that, I can tell you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Don't leave us hanging.
Okay, so that one with 60% in shows Schreier with 52.9% and Larkin, the Republican, with 47.1.
Crap.
Yeah, I know. Kim
Uh,
Schreier, the pediatrician who loves abortions. Shame on her.
Brock, go ahead.
No, just want to quickly say for a couple of these races, like Garrett said, like I reported, we're waiting on the Maricopa drop, but we just had our first election day results from Arizona, and it's 716 votes, so take it with a grain of salt, but they split 85-15 Lake in the governor's race, nothing for the Senate. And this is Lopez County. Still, it's quite a big margin for the governor's race.
Whoa, long pause. We got hands up. Gaze, come on, go ahead. You're next.
Yeah. So this election cycle, I've been working with an organization, and I've been to Ohio, Pennsylvania, and right now I'm currently in North Carolina. And I just got a call that I leave for Georgia tomorrow because we're pretty sure it's going to go to a runoff.
Oh, between Walker and Warnock?
Yeah, they're both tied at 49. The Libertarian candidate is pulling enough. He's pulling 2%. So, I mean, it's still possible that one of them can get over 50, but I don't think they would send me to Georgia if they were confident that that was going to happen. So, I'll probably be up all night long, and I'll get to Atlanta. I don't know what time tomorrow.
Well, be safe. I'm just saying, be careful, bro.
Gaze, I'll be up all night long going over voting information. So, hey, just wanted to let you know that. I'm not driving anywhere, but I got a lot of numbers to look at here. You guys, I'm just going to tell you, Minnesota's looking really bad, really bad. We may not win a constitutional office, period, let alone the governor, the AG, or the two other ones that the secretary, the state auditor that I thought would go Republican. My longtime Republican state senator, I'm waiting for 4 precincts to come in, and he may lose. So I'm in a bit of a panic.
That's crazy. Yeah.
bit
Yeah,
of a panic.
The New York Times has called the governor's race for Tim
Tim Walz.
Walz.
Yeah, that's because the AP called it.
Yeah,
Um,
I was looking for Attorney General, and
so
looks like Keith Ellison's up by 9.
yeah, he is. Right now, there's 46.75% of the precincts in. So there's 4,103 precincts in Minnesota. Right now, 1918 have been reported. Keith Ellison holds a 140,000 vote lead right now, and I am looking at the map to see what still has to be reported. Hennepin County is all done reporting. Anoka County is all done reporting, which is where I am at. Ramsey County is only about half reported in, or no, sorry, 3/4 reported in. So yeah, it's coming in quick in Minnesota, and it's yeah. And by the way, everybody, a lot of large, like Fox, CNN, New York Times, MSNBC, all that stuff, they're going off of AP is what it's looking like to me for when they're calling races. The AP is reporting first, and then I think these other ones are checking very quickly and then quickly reporting.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know if you guys touched on this. I was listening. Maybe the shocker of the evening so far, Lauren Boebert is losing her race. Let me
In
pull it up.
Colorado?
I saw
Yeah.
that. I was like, oh man, she's losing.
Yep. So let me So every in Colorado has been called except hers. When I first tweeted it a couple hours ago, it was 63% of the vote, and I think she was losing by 6. So right now, with 71% of the vote, she has made up a little bit. She's down by 4, which looks like about 8,000 votes. And unfortunately, the New York Times usually has like a outstanding, where like the votes are outstanding. They don't have it for that race. And her district is all Western Colorado, so no, what I can tell, no big cities at all. Looks like the biggest district had 50,000 votes. The rest are all under 20,000 votes combined. So I don't know if she can pull it off.
That's crazy, man. Tarantino Jaws, thank you for being patient. Go ahead.
This night has been a joke, okay? I'm sorry. This night has been a joke for all of us. I hate to be extremely vindictive and wish ill will upon entire segments of people, but I really wish the economy would just get depression level right now, because that's the only way these people will ever wake up. And even then, not a lot of them will wake up. And that's all I have to say about that.
I would like to quote, I know some of you will not like what I quote, but that's okay. I don't really care. It's my space. I'd like to quote Rush Limbaugh, who said, keep the faith. That's all I got to say is he said, keep the faith. So I'm just saying we can't give up on our country, and we can't give up on even finding balance between Democrats and Republicans. Like, I wouldn't want it to be all Republican either. Like, we need to find a balance. That's why, like, the Conservative Political Forum and Katz and myself have made this a place for all people, because how are we supposed to find balance? Real quick before Ryan steps in, because I love hearing what Ryan has to say, I'm going to have Jordan give us a quick, we're going to step away real quick, so don't jump in with races real quick. I want Jordan to come in. Jordan was a strong Democrat, and we had some battles. I've known Jordan for a long time. He's a friend of mine for now 4 years, and we're just good friends. Just bring up, Jordan, kind of like some of the changes that you went through real quick, and then we'll get back to race stuff, and we'll go to Ryan next after Jordan.
Yeah, so I mean,
obviously, well, actually, let me start with a little story. So I went to go vote. I moved recently out to Tennessee, and I'm in a little town west of Nashville, and went down to the polling station and talked to one of the city council guys. One of the guys running for city council, and he's a local pastor, and I chatted with him for about 20 minutes. Stood in line for about another hour, and then was told, "Hey, you're actually at the wrong spot." So went to another place, stood in line for about an hour and a half, or a little bit more. So I was gone attempting to vote for like 4 hours. But when I was talking to him, he kind of said, he said something that I thought was interesting. He said, if you're young and you're not a Democrat, you don't have a heart. If you're old and you're not a Republican, you don't have a brain. And that's kind of where I am at this point in time. When I was younger, my heart was in the right place, obviously. Like I have a heart for people, and well, I mean, at the same time too, there's a little bit of a gimme in that, but I used to be a big follower of like TYT and stuff like that with Cenk Uygur, and was really bought into a lot of the stuff. And I think what turned me around the most was just the last 4 years in general. Specifically the good old Summer of Love, and I've mentioned it before, talked about it briefly, but a good friend of my wife's family, my wife and her family. He actually dated my wife's cousin for a while. He was the gentleman that was shot in Portland, that they said was a ultra right, racist Trump supporter, and a part of the Patriot Prayer and all this and that, and they just smeared him, which is seeing the dishonesty and how easily and how fast they moved to that level of dishonesty, especially like calling him a racist when it was very well known that he preferred women of color. Like he was not anywhere near a racist, and he was a very, very jubilant, very kind, fun-loving person. And they just painted him to be this psycho, basically, that deserved to die and whatever. And it seemed like the media cared more about when the cops shot his killer than they did about him dying in the first place. And that was kind of a big deal for me to what opened up my eyes. But then also it comes down to just specifically economics and what we've been, where our money's been going, just what the nation's doing as far as agendas that are being pushed and things like that. Personal freedom's awesome, but there are certain things that are meant for adults. Certain freedoms that are meant for adults and not for kids. And just a number of things. It's hard to quantify the totality of what's gotten me to the point where I'm like, no, like I'm not going to vote for the Democratic Party at all, period. And in the last presidential election, I voted for Bernie in the primaries, and then I can't remember who ran for the Libertarian, who the Libertarian candidate was, but that's I didn't want to vote for Biden or for Trump specifically, and I still think that Trump is exceptionally problematic. I think that he's an easy target.
He is problematic. He is to blame for all this.
We won't say that.
So,
but
can I mention?
no,
what
hold
I'm
on. Sorry.
Let him finish, please. Let him.
I want Jordan to finish what he has to say, and then we're gonna go to Ryan, who's been patient, and then Katz, who actually is a part of this, just because we want to make sure that we get everybody in here. So go ahead, Jordan, and finish your statement, and then we'll go to Ryan.
Yeah, sorry, I like to talk a lot, so I was kind of dragging this on, but not to go too in depth into that, I will say this: I used to think Trump was the devil, and I really thought I bought into every little bit of propaganda that was put out there, but there are certain things you just can't get around, and no person is perfect. That's just plain and simple. No person is perfect, but there have been certain things, especially in the last few months specifically, where I'm kind of like, hey man, maybe we should step out of this, and I would hope for some stronger, or at least not necessarily stronger, but just I want candidates who are above reproach, you know, who have a little bit cleaner record, or who at least are a little bit more cautious in their delivery, and cautious in their messaging, because I feel your pain. I do. And I think that there is a big lesson to be learned about in messaging with what I'm seeing as far as results currently, because if you scare people out of voting, then you lose votes. On the other side of things, I think that the reason why it didn't go so far in the it seems to be pretty much even. It doesn't seem like there's really many gains or losses overall as far as what I'm seeing, unless I'm missing something. But could have been a whole lot worse. So at least we can count on the Democratic Party to, just make buffoons of themselves. So even when we make buffoons of ourselves, it's not quite as bad. Just my thoughts.
Well,
So
thank you, Jordan. And we're not going to, just for those that are in here that may have raised their hands after Jordan talked about Trump, we're not going to make this a Trump bashing segment. I really don't want that in here. I don't agree with everything Donald Trump
sorry,
did.
but we need that conversation now.
We're not having that
No.
conversation tonight. We're not having that conversation tonight. We're talking about elections.
So,
It's
Ed Snyder Stan, I'm gonna boot you. Okay, you need to pay attention to the host. If the host doesn't want to have that conversation, that's on him. You want to have that conversation? Go start another space. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. We're getting on point here, and we have rules in here. I mean, and so we're gonna go to Ryan, but before we do, Mitty, I just wanna bring up that in the last few months, I've gotten to know a lot of Democrats. We don't agree on everything, but Mitty, you could kind of share with that I probably say a lot of things that you're like, oh no, I don't agree with that, but in the bottom line is we have fun, don't we, Mitty? Even though you're a Democrat.
Yeah. We're all Americans in the end. That's the good part. The thing that makes it feel a little better when you lose is that there's another race and we're all gonna be okay. It sucks. It hurts. I know. Trust me. But
Definitely. And so we get along really well. We have fun. We have a group of us that just joke around. And you know what? A lot of them are Democrats and a lot of us are Republicans. And we tease each other. But it's a fun teasing. Right, Mitty?
yeah, exactly.
It's a great group.
Exactly. So thank you, NASCAR, for saying that. I don't want to bash Trump. This is not the presidential election. This is the midterms, and we've got a lot of things going on here. So I don't want to bash Trump when we're in the middle of having a conversation about what's going on now. Trump has nothing to do really with this other than the people he endorsed. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this right now for those of you that may not like it. I would take Trump over Biden any day. I'm sick of the crap that's going on in this country. And that's a story that we'll have in the Conservative Political Forum another time. And he can come in here and he can have his 5 minutes or 2 minutes or however long Katz gets tired of hearing him and then tells him he needs to shut up. He can have his little time before Katz shuts him up for bashing Trump, and then we'll go on to not bashing Trump anymore. I don't want to bash anybody. I bash Biden a lot, but I'm just sick of all of us dealing with the inflation. I mean, my wife went to the grocery store earlier this week to get a couple small items, and it ended up costing $40. That's ridiculous. So that's what I don't like. But we're here to talk about races, so let's get back to it. I'm sorry that I rambled on too much. Ryan, jump in, buddy. What do you got to say about some of the races and everything?
So there is a bright spot in Texas. It looks like Alex Mueller will be winning in the Harris County judges race, which is one that I really was paying attention to. Currently, no election day vote is being counted in Harris County. The votes that are in are currently, from what I understand, just mail-in, which is super close. I can post it on the Jumbotron if you want, but I'll read it out to you. So the latest data I'm seeing is Lena Hidalgo winning with 50.7% of the vote to Alex Mueller 49.3%. But again, this is just the early and mail-in vote and not election day vote. from what I understand. And so I do think Alex Mueller can pull this off, which will be huge because it just goes to show that I think I think one theme that we're seeing tonight is there is there is a too far right and a too far left. And if we, Lena Hidalgo proved that progressivism is just not going to work in a moderate county, and even if it's still Democratic leaning. And so ultimately crime is going to be was the major issue of tonight. Crime has been a major problem in Harris County, and so we're going to have a big change in Harris County, which I'm really happy for, because what happens in Harris County affects my town. I live on the outskirts. I live in the border essentially of Chambers and Harris. We're right next door to each other, and so the crime that happens there absolutely affects my county and my town. And so I welcome this victory for Alex Mueller, which hasn't been called yet, but it looks like it will be given the data and whatnot. So I'm excited. In Texas, and it just goes to show that moderates can win.
Thank you, Ryan. Katz, go ahead.
Hey, Michael, what was the name of the person you're interested in that 38th district?
I think it's Ashley Tagoa, or yeah.
Okay, let me take a look then. Hang on.
Okay.
All right, Shiloh, go ahead while Katz is looking at that. What's up?
Breaking news: Beto O'Rourke has conceded, and the January 6th committee member was voted out. I can't remember their names right now. I'm afraid to go look at the other screen, but I've been just kind of jumping in and out. Somebody brought up Larson in Washington State. I know most people don't keep pictures of their ballots. This is the first time I didn't do it. I distinctly remember Larson being listed as a Republican on my ballot.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's interesting. Eli, go ahead.
Kansas is, I think, gone within 3. That's the one race that's really going down to the wire right now. That's just been slowly. Kelly's been slowly dropping in that.
Who's that, Eli?
For Kansas Gov, incumbent Dem governor.
What did you say was going on there?
Or I was saying it's coming down to the wire. It's gonna be
Okay.
It's gonna probably be within a point.
Hey, real quick, Fox News is reporting Gretchen Whitmer over Dixon, but I've been watching that state. They only have 43% in, and it's about 80,000 vote difference and over 2 million votes cast. So they must be seeing things I'm not seeing, but that's Michigan.
Bud was called too, by the way.
What was called?
Ted Budd in North Carolina.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's a victory for Republicans.
There you go.
Brock.
Currently, CNN only has it at Republicans winning a +3 seat majority in the House as of now.
Brock, go ahead.
And Eli, I will believe CNN as much as I will believe Bill Gates for vaccine advice.
Okay, Canadian,
That was a
I'll
priceless
send you back.
joke. That was funny as shit. What are y'all talking about? That was priceless.
It was pretty funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
This is pretty expected.
I have results for Michael, but I'm not seeing the name he said, so I'm just gonna go over what I see. So this is Washington State 38th District. And so for the senator, there's Democratic June Robinson versus Bernard Moody, with June Robinson leading 59% to 40. Then you have your House races. You've got a Julio Cortez, the Democrat, and a Gary Kemp, the Republican. Cortez is leading 59% to 40. And then the second House person, you have a Democrat, Mary Fossey, and Mark James, the Republican, and Mary Fossey leading 57% to 41. So In the 38th district, those are the names I'm seeing. So I'm a little confused, Michael. Can you, if you can shed some light on that, let me know, or post it in the little thing in the bottom corner there.
Hey, I'm not sure who was next.
Hey, Kelly, can I go real quick?
Just
This is
pick,
something
just
really
pick
quick.
someone. Hold on, Colin. Just
No,
pick
I have one
someone.
thing, and then I'm gonna dip. I have one thing. I am in Santa Clara County's Democratic Election Party. This is where many big name House Democrats are right now. They right now think they are winning the House. They right now think Nancy Pelosi just stopped by around an hour ago. They think they're winning the House.
The U.S. House.
Yes, the U.S. House. They think they'll win by
Okay.
like 2 seats.
Okay.
Tim Michaels is apparently preparing to
So,
concede.
so Kelly, you can usually though you can just jump in and just pick somebody. I usually, if you don't
Yeah.
see hands, that's what I do.
I will. Eli, did you say something about Wisconsin? Eli? See, Eli, this is why you can't talk over, because I heard you say something about Michaels, and I'm not sure if you were talking about Tim Michaels in Wisconsin or a different race.
Eli was saying somebody was preparing to concede.
Okay. Dylan, go ahead.
Yeah, Dylan had his hand
Yay.
up. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask, what races have been called and who's won, and how much did DeSantis win by? Because before I had left to go down to the spa, he was absolutely crushing Christie by like a
He
couple
won the-
million votes.
Ron DeSantis won the governor's race by 20 points.
By 20. Oh my God. Okay.
Gays for Trump.
Only because someone mentioned Wisconsin. Ron Johnson is now up by a full 3 points with 80% in, and Evers' lead has continuously been shrinking. It's now below 1% with 82% in. And if is Jordan still in here? Yeah. So I was born and raised in San Francisco, and I was like a left-wing, liberal, tree-hugging, gay Democrat and everything. And I moved to a little town in Tennessee just east of Nashville in 2010. And I often, I wonder if it was Tennessee that made me a conservative, or if it was Trump, or maybe if it was a little bit of both. Because obviously growing up in San Francisco, I was bombarded with nothing but Democratic talking points and just that lifestyle. And then going from that to just a little hick town in Tennessee where, everybody knows everybody and they wave, and our town is famous because we have a huge mural of Ronald Reagan on one of our buildings, and it made national news when someone painted a Hitler mustache on him. Like that was our big claim to fame. Like, oh my God, our Ronald Reagan mural got defaced. But yeah, I often wonder if it was Tennessee or Trump that did it. But I absolutely love Tennessee. I know you said you're just east of Nashville. Not a big fan of Nashville at all. I'd rather go to Knoxville. But yeah, I love Tennessee.
All right. E-Man's next.
Yeah, I'm in the state of Maryland, which obviously is pretty blue. I mean, it was blue pretty much statewide. But Neil Parrott is winning Maryland 6 right now, and he's been winning pretty much all night. So that'll be something to watch. And Republicans are currently on pace to flip 2 county executive races, which is Anne Arundel County, which went Democrat for the first time since 1964 because Biden won it, and then Frederick County, which Biden also won. The Republican in Frederick County is up by nearly almost 12 points, and Anne Arundel County is razor thin, but the big federal thing right now is Neil Parrott is beating David Trone, which is probably the most gerrymandered district in the whole entire country.
I thought that was a court job. That was a court job district.
Cats?
Okay, I have the result that Michael wanted, and I also wanted to mention.
You just so you know, your mic is doing what it's doing, and we can't hear you. So that doesn't help. It sounds like you're in a hall again.
Is that better or no?
No, not yet.
It's very tinny.
We can't be having teeny stuff. Is it any better?
No, it's still doing it.
Damn.
I know,
Can't
right?
really, you can't really hear me?
We can barely hear you. I guess Kelly can try to interpret what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I'm having trouble hearing her as well. Yeah, I would suggest maybe leaving the space, coming back in, and we'll hold that spot for you.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Thanks, Cats. Is anybody had their hand up, Kelly? I don't see any hands up. Who's got something to add to the races? Anybody?
Oh, I have something to add.
Welcome, Truth. Go ahead.
Hey, hi everybody. Well, I just came from a place here in New Hampshire where somebody won the Democratic vote, and I went as a neighbor to be supportive, even though I'm staunchly Republican. And congratulations to him. But listen, people, they have their people behind them, and if we don't have people dedicated to what we're striving for, then we're gonna lose. So just leaving it out there and hoping for a red wave.
Can I add something? I don't know if we've brought up Oklahoma, but I know in previous spaces I was hearing incumbent Republican Governor Kevin Stitt that a lot of people were saying he's not a very good candidate, is not a great governor, but he won decisively tonight against Democrat Joy Hoffmeister, 55.5% to 41.75%. I mean, it's a large margin there. So
You know our buddy Garrison, who's from Oklahoma?
I know we've talked about
Yeah.
Garrison. I don't know if I've been in a space with him.
Nikki always says, "Oh, he was going to lose." He was talking about it, and Garrison tweeted about that tonight too, how he won big time. So when Nikki's sober one time, we'll have to tease him, all of us, about that situation. Remember that one time you said Oklahoma was going to lose and Garrison was going to have a Democrat in his state, you know? So, but no, that's a good one, Kelly. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. I am right now looking for results in Wisconsin. Wisconsin, Tim Michels versus Tony Evers. Tony Evers being the Democrat incumbent. It is a very close race. It is less than 20. It just updated. About 22,000 votes separate out of 2.3 million cast. So Tony Evers has 49.95%. Tim Michels has 49.02%. You've got an independent candidate who's polling at 1%, but she's got the 23,000 vote difference between Evers and Michels. Without her, you could maybe say this is statistically tied. That is with 83% of the precincts reporting, apparently. I am still trying to find some more information, but that is a hot race to watch, is Wisconsin.
And that's good. And we'll let Kat speak and then E-Man. But before we do, Jordan, can you look up more on Arizona? I don't know what's going on there, but if you can dig into a deeper dive in Arizona, that'd be great, Jordan. Okay, so Kat's, does your mic work so you can speak?
I don't know. You tell me.
Sounds way better, huh, Kelly?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Good. So Michael, I went ahead and posted your race in the external little chat thing. So you can see it there. And I don't know if you guys saw that Becky wanted a update on things in South Dakota.
Yeah, we'll look into that too, Becky. We got you covered. Where you're way down there, okay, we got you, Becky. I know you're listening. We'll get you covered. So,
She's in the cheap seats.
yeah. And oh, by the way, any listeners, if you have questions, I am looking at the comments. So please leave a comment, a question down there if you don't have a mic, and we're not going to forget you in the comment section. So that's what that's there for. I like the comments. So if you have questions about races, just just leave a question down there and we'll definitely cover you on that. I'm sure Kelly can help me look at that too. I don't want to forget about you guys.
Jason, where are comments being listed?
They're in the left, is the bottom right hand corner.
Yep.
There's a little comment section, and people leave comments there all the time.
Got it.
So I just don't want to forget about the people in the comments, because then they can leave messages and questions there too. E-Man, go ahead.
Yeah, NBC and the AP just called it, but Mayra Flores lost.
Oh, did she? That's
Yeah.
a bummer. That's kind of a bummer. It's kind of sad.
It kind of wasn't a surprise based on the district that she was in, but it's still, it's still upsetting.
Definitely. Brock? Go ahead, Brock.
Just quickly, Jason, just based on so yeah, I'm going to address two things. So in Arizona, what we have gotten and why you see the Dems so far ahead is this is just early vote / absentee voting, or absentee / mail-in. Sorry, not early vote. That this is all this tossed in one. The next is election day, and then after that is the election day, or not. Sorry, late drop-off mail-ins or earlies. So this is people that voted by mail, but went to the polling stations and dropped their ballot off. Okay? Also, in PA, Mitty, you'll love this. I am almost tempted to call John Fetterman, or Fetterwoman, the apparent winner, just because of what I'm seeing, and Oz's math is getting really, really difficult.
Thank you, Brock. Appreciate the update there. Let's see. Well, he requested a mic, so I'm going to call him for a second because his state kicked some butt tonight, which is awesome. I'm really happy to see that. Dr. G, welcome.
Hey, good evening, guys and ladies. I'm frustrated. I think Rubio and DeSantis never had a problem. What I'm starting to get a little curious about is what the hell happened in New York and what the hell happened in Pennsylvania. But that said, yes, I'm very happy. The state essentially just became, red wine red. It's been very productive. There's even Miami-Dade flipped, which you just don't see in the last 22 years. So I don't know if you're following that, but Miami-Dade secured a huge Latino vote, and I think Trump had a lot to do with it. And I think it was very productive, very effective. But I just, for the life of me, I cannot, I can just see, I can see 2020 happening again in states like, Pennsylvania. I can see, I'm not sure Warnock is going to win, but, it just, if we're not careful, we're going to lose the Senate. We're well on our way to doing that. I don't know if you guys spoke about that, but those are my opinions. But yeah, I'm thrilled. DeSantis won. In fact, this little side joke was I was invited to a celebration party in Tampa for one of the elected winners. I won't say who, and I won't say who invited me, but I can't even go, which is funny because I have to work. But this was very expected. And personally, the best thing I can say was, and I'll leave you with this: Val Demings was running an ad right after they called Rubio by about 2 hours, banging on Rubio. So that was just entertaining to me. So I enjoyed that. But the good news is that hopefully Demings, Nikki Fried, and Chris will just disappear, and we'll never have to hear from them again. Maybe they get hit up by Andrew Gillum for a job. That'd be the kind of cool part, I think. Anyway, that's it, Jason. I just wanted to check in with you.
Thank you, Doc. NASCAR Kelly, you want to call on some people?
Yeah, let's go to gays for Trump, then Brock, then Jeannie.
I just have a little interesting anecdote. During his victory speech, J.D. Vance specifically named 34 people for thanks and gratitude. Donald Trump was not one of them.
Nice. He's
Hey,
he's reading the tea leaves.
by the way, to speak to that, it's important. Did any of you guys hear that Trump did not acknowledge DeSantis in his Mar-a-Lago speech on RSBN, or was that a myth?
I heard that Trump once again bashed DeSantis earlier today in an interview. I don't know who the interview was with, but basically said that he didn't give Trump enough credit for his win. So I don't know.
Trump, on video, did clearly say when asked, "Did you vote for DeSantis?" He said, "Yes, I did."
I'm just not sure what the posturing is about. I still believe it is a political game that the two of them are playing, and they're well aware of it, because I can't believe they're not communicating with each other. And I said that pretty much the other night. I thought, and I don't want to interrupt your line of speech, but I still think there's an intended behavior between the two of them, because how can they not have a relationship with each other? I mean, DeSantis, when he won, was barely over about 50,000 over Gillum. And I'd like to think Trump had something to do with it, whether he acknowledges it or not, whether the two of them are in a kind of a small pissing match over it. I mean, look what happened with Rubio. Rubio was his best bud on the rally the other night. So I think this is just political posturing. But if DeSantis really did not get congratulated by Trump on the win tonight, I don't know. I'm kind of a little set back by that, but I kind of still believe it's some political posturing, and they have a plan that, like I said, he's going to run with him, and I know how some of you feel about that, but my expectation is that Trump will probably get the nomination at this stage, because he's got him by 70 to 10%, and hopefully he'll make him a VP, and then we'll have 12 years of presidency. That's kind of where I'm hoping with this.
So can I just jump in on there? Here, let me give you my activist feel on it. Here's what my gut tells me. I'm used to this behavior from Trump because of Jesse Ventura as governor in Minnesota. It's very ego driven, and I would say at this point, and I think Cernovich tweeted it earlier, we are so far behind where we thought we were going to be as Republicans tonight that Trump should not consider running in 2024, and ought to let DeSantis take the wheel if he's going to do this, because he's the big winner tonight. If Kari Lake loses, if Blake Master loses, a couple of others around the country lose that Trump endorsed, I don't see how Trump goes forward. But Trump's got an ego that if he's being told by enough people around him that it can work, he may still go ahead and run. So that's my feeling on it, and I think this is more driven by Trump than DeSantis in terms of ego swapping or not talking to each other or whatever. I just feel that it's more Trump doing this than DeSantis, but it could be wrong. I've just watched this kind of stuff from Jesse Ventura 20 years ago in Minnesota. With that, I think I said Brock and then Jeannie, and then let's go Katz, and then I'll call on the other two.
Well, just quickly back to Pennsylvania. The reason what you needed for Dr. Oz to win, and he still can win. I'm just not as confident just because what's out and what's left. What you need to see was him get same Trump margins. If I could bleed a couple points, can't bleed much, and perform just as good, but perform way better in the Philadelphia suburbs and not get blown out in Pittsburgh. Well, he did worse than Donald Trump in Pittsburgh, in Allegheny County. He about 8 points worse. Fetterman did 5 points better. I don't know. That just doesn't seem like to me a recipe for success, but there's still, I think where you're going here, to be honest, and I hate saying this, is it's going to be a 51, 52 Republican majority, or it's going to be a 50-50. I think Nevada's gone, by the way. I think Laxalt will win that, like, when you get votes in.
Okay, Jeannie, go ahead.
This isn't meant to say anything bad about Trump, but the candidates that Trump endorsed are not necessarily doing as well as they could have. And I also heard that in the primaries, some Democratic PACs actually put money on the weakest candidates in certain races in order to get a weak candidate out. Because quality does matter when it comes to who's going to win. And I just think like Florida, they have quality candidates down there, and they won hands down. Because who doesn't like Ron DeSantis?
Just a little update. Carrie Lake is on stage, and she said, I just want you to know it's early. It's very early. And if we have to take this fight through, we will.
Hi, I just wanted to answer the person who was asking about Ron DeSantis getting endorsed by Trump. Yeah, he was endorsed by Trump, and I think that it's all a political game too. I think they're going to end up together, or I don't know if that's a positive thing, but and Trump endorsed candidates. He's doing pretty good. I think he lost about 30 or 34 altogether since he endorsed them all.
I think I think Kelly that Jordan probably has an update on the question I asked him, so I'd kind of like to let him jump in.
Yep, go ahead, Jordan.
Well, I kind of got beat to the punch. I was just looking up how Arizona tabulates their votes and everything, just to kind of get an idea of what maybe is going on. I couldn't find anything specific on Maricopa County and what that whole thing is. I did see something this morning in regards to some of the locations in that county were having issues with their tabulators not working and stuff like that. But it doesn't really seem like there's a decent split. Blake Masters, currently it's just showing him at 40%, with Mark Kelly getting 57.7, but only 51% of the vote. And then Katie Hobbs is up 56.6 versus Carrie Lake at 43.4, but that's only showing 48% of the vote. So it is possible that those could turn around, because it's basically just half, and that means there's a good, million votes in each still to come or more, if that's accurate. So yeah, it could very well turn the other way, but just to pipe in on what's been being said in regards to the whole Trump and DeSantis thing, if they are playing smart, with this, and they were, maybe they were looking into the midterms and realizing like, oh, this may be closer than we thought, turnout might not be there. Maybe they're recognizing the fact that the momentum behind Trump is faded, or that he's just, like I said earlier, problematic. It would be a really good way to separate his name from DeSantis if he starts a riff. And that might help in 2024. So I hope that's what's going on, because I like DeSantis anyways. So I'm just saying, I would definitely vote for him. But yeah, based on what I can see, hold your breath on Arizona. It's a little bit odd, Katie Hobbs' involvement with the entire election process. I'm just going to say that out loud. And I don't know. I don't have the greatest level of trust in a race where someone running is also in a position of authority when it comes to the process itself. So, yeah, that's what I got on that. If I see anything else pop up, though, I'll let you know.
Does anybody have an update on Oregon? I want the Oregon governor race. I haven't heard anything about Oregon.
Yes, I've been watching Oregon. Let me just scroll down. Let's see. 55% of the vote. Tina Kotek leads 45.9 to 44.4 over Drazen. And the New York Times website has a like key races page that I've kept up, all night. And Kotek's, if that's her name, lead has been consistently shrinking. And just to touch on something that Kelly mentioned, I don't know what the networks are seeing with Michigan, but Whitmer's lead has been cut in half, and we've only gone from like 43% of the vote to 49% of the vote. She's only winning by 2% now. And some networks have already called it for Whitmer.
Yeah, what I'm seeing, she's actually hit 50% now. I actually think her lead has grown just a bit, and not gone down.
No.
Yeah, New York Times clearly had her up 4, and it says she's up 2.
No, but Gays for Trump, the reason you're seeing a lot of networks call it is because we have absolutely singly nothing from Detroit. That's the Democrat bastion, and there's nothing, and Whitmer's ahead.
What counties make up Detroit, you guys?
Detroit is Wayne County, and he's right. There's only 8% of the vote in, and Whitmer's winning 93% to 6. Oakland County, which is the suburbs, Whitmer's winning 61 to 38 with 79%. And the other, Wadesh, some Indian name, Whitmer's winning 68 to 30 with 59%.
Katz has had her hand up for a bit. What's up, Katz? And then Dr. G, Kelly.
Actually, after Katz, Iman has had his hand
Oh,
up.
Iman. Okay. I didn't see that one. Sorry. You're
Go
right,
ahead, Katz.
Kelly.
Okay, can everybody hear me okay?
Yep, we gotcha.
Okay, just checking. I'm just gonna whine for a minute. So I can't believe that Hobbs is leading Lake. Yes, I know it's still early, but I'm telling you, every time I heard Hobbs speak, it's like she just doesn't seem very intelligent, and I don't understand the minute she entered the race why she would still remain in her position. That just seemed wrong. So then the Fetterman Oz thing, having nothing to do with his stroke, I don't understand how anybody could vote for him, because to me, he doesn't seem mentally right with the things that he believes in his upbringing and background, and being what is he, 50 something years old, and mommy and daddy always supported him. I mean, that's just plain weird. And just this whole thing of releasing criminals, even murderers, and I don't know, acting like that's no big deal. It's just like something's very wrong with this guy. I just don't understand how people can vote for somebody like that. Then the last thing I'm going to crab about is Hochul and Zeldin. I really had hopes that Zeldin, because he seemed like, he was on fire, and I think polls had them close. And to think that she won, denying the crime that's going on and the way she is with her vaccine bull crap, it's just a danger to the people from New York. And, they're being set back. They're not going to move forward in having a better life. And I mean, obviously I don't live there, but there's a lot of people that live there, and I just I just don't get the mindset of people. Okay, I'm going to stop crabbing.
Go ahead, Iman.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm just gonna say it. I think that we as we're not Democrats. We shouldn't be afraid to criticize people, and I just don't get this uproar around Trump that people don't want to criticize him. I mean, how could you possibly look at tonight? We Republicans should be winning 40 to 50 seats, and they're not. I mean, this should have been a red wave, and it's barely looking like a ripple, if at all. So,
Can
I'm
I
just
just
saying that.
yep, I'll let you keep speaking. Let me just say too, I think certain races have to be really drilled down on, and to see where things are coming from, 2 years ago and then 4 years ago. So I don't necessarily want to, I'm not trying to bash anybody. I think this needs to be studied for a while and really get down into the data to see what happened in certain areas. Go ahead, Iman.
The other thing I was gonna say is they just called New York 3 as a Republican flip.
Who is that, Iman?
I'm trying to.
George Santos.
I can't remember who New York 3 is.
New York 3 is George Santos. If you're talking about the Republican, right? Is it a Republican flip?
Yes.
Yeah, George Santos is the Republican running.
Yeah, that's been called a Republican flip, and it does look like that Zeldin did help upstate, at least, because Republicans are currently on pace to maybe flip 3 or 4 seats in New York right now. And
Yeah, the DCCC chairman, Sean Patrick Maloney, is losing to somebody named Lawler by 6%, with 84% of the votes in.
I think that was a race that I know I had talked about in another space. The DCC chair was polling pretty badly heading into the election. And so that would be the first, I don't know, first time ever or first time in decades that a Democrat congressional campaign chair has lost his own race.
Dr. Drew's had his hand up for a bit. Can we let him jump in?
I just want to point out that they didn't put it on the tables, but Utah just became Republican again as far as the Senate. So we're missing 3 to make 50, and there's a total of 5.
Can I ask who, when we're saying states and races that have won, can we give some names? Because I identify by name sometimes rather than state.
You'll have to forgive me. Utah's a little bit away from me, but GOP Utah won, and that's what flipped on my Fox News remarks. But I'll look it up for you. But
Mike Lee is the projected winner in Utah.
But I think he was incumbent anyway. And but anyway, it was called as Republican. But we're just 3 down, and 4 would flip it, the Senate. So just to be a little more encouraging to all of you guys, it is my opinion that even if we win by 1 in the Senate, and even if we win by a couple in Congress, a red wave versus a red ripple doesn't exactly faze me. So I think we just need the majorities, and I could be satisfied with that. I mean, it would be a great testament to what we need, but it doesn't mean that it's perfect. I mean, sort of like the doctor who graduates with the letter C in his grade. I mean, he's still a physician, right? So if we pass, we pass. So I would just pray that we get the next 4 seats or 4 seats left of the Senate. And what was it? 51-49 is what the other guys, one of you said. So I mean, if we get that, I'd be satisfied with that, because then we could personally stick it to Kamala. But that's my opinion. But anyway, I'm going to be listening, so I just wanted to just respond to that.
If I had to rank these races of like if you had to ask me the 50th seat, the 51st, 52nd, and 53rd. I'd go, 48 was Utah, 49 is Alaska, 50 is Ron Johnson, 51 is Laxalt. 52 would be Masters, and I think Oz is 53 at this rate.
I'm not feeling Oz anymore, but I mean,
No,
if he gets
I
it,
like I said, I'm close to calling Fetterman the apparent winner.
can I just point out, and I don't want to sound cruel because I probably am the one person who should be a little more empathetic to this, but tell me that's not going to be the best gag reel for the next 6 years.
What's that, Dr. G? What would be the best gag reel?
Fetterman if he wins.
Oh, good Lord. Can you imagine hearing that every week
I'm just
for the
pointing
next
this
6
out.
years?
Oz is closing the gap, and he is doing what he needs to do in the southeast of PA.
Ed, that's great, but he's also getting trounced in Lackawanna County, which is the county he couldn't, like, he needed to get Trump's exact margin. He failed. He lost it by more. Pittsburgh, he lost by more. There's a lot of counties he's losing by more. Yes, the suburbs could make that up,
Pat Toomey.
but I'm not seeing it. I don't see the math for him. It's getting really hard, and I'm a math guy.
Hey, NASCAR, I'll say this. If Fetterman wins, I may actually have to watch C-SPAN every day I'm off. I may just actually have to watch that to see what happens.
Just for comedic value, maybe?
You know something? Listen, say what you want about the guy as a physician and some of the snake oil stuff he's done. The guy ran a reasonable campaign. He was professional. He was polite. He could have swung at Fetterman, and Lord knows, in addition to expressive aphasia, he's probably got some receptive aphasia because he can't read a teleprompter and digest what he's reading. So I mean, there's some clinical issues that he could have swung at him medically. Lord knows, I can see what's going on, and I'm not a neurologist, but
Yep.
at this stage of the game, if he's not better by 7 or 8 months post his stroke, and all the occupational physical therapy in the world is not gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
This is just, I feel bad. It's sort of like Hochul winning. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, I did see an interview with a neurologist who said if he is 6 months, and this is last month, if he is 6 months post stroke event, and he's having these problems are most likely not going away. His ability to carry a conversation, needing a teleprompter, visual aids and things like that. That's brain function that probably will not come back anytime soon. Can I just give by the way, President Biden, and if Fetterman wins, both of them in the same room, oh my God, that would be.
Oh wow!
That would be just, that would blow
Oh my
my mind.
goodness! I know, right?
Can I let me give you an update from Minnesota. The 2nd Congressional District, Democrat Angie Craig being challenged by Republican Tyler Kistner for the second time. Kistner's been leading all night. One of the main counties that I was worried about suddenly started reporting, and Angie Craig has taken a lead by about 8,000 votes, I think. 8,000 votes, about between 7,000 and 8,000 votes. But a lot's in, and I'm worried about that one because I thought Angie Craig would be booted. But considering this is no longer a red wave, I think Angie Craig may hold on to that seat. We'll see how it goes. I am also watching Wisconsin governor race, and I'm getting an update right now with 87, almost 88% of the vote in. Tony Evers is still leading. He has 50% to Michael's 48.9%. I don't know what's still out there, but that's Wisconsin.
Wow, that's crazy. Preston, let's let Preston come.
Yep,
He has his hand up.
Yep.
So hey guys, how we doing?
Good.
Well, we
kind of good.
Yeah,
you know
kind
how
of
it
good.
goes. Yeah, kind of good. I mean, I'm not happy with some stuff. I know you aren't either.
No, dude, I just can't believe how. I mean, dude, Matt was not happy about Rhode Island, man. I mean, nor was I, but I mean, I felt bad.
Yeah, Matt was in the space earlier, Preston.
Did he
right when
still
they kind of-
did he still have fun at the party though?
I
We
don't
don't
know. I mean,
know.
I was like talking, my mom was like really upset because I mean, yeah, dude, she went to bed. When I tell her how much like things like got more dicey, like, Jesus. I mean, I didn't expect
Yeah.
Wisconsin governor to be this close, man. Like, or Pennsylvania. I mean, I did, but like not the other way around.
Arizona's the one that's shocking me a little,
Arizona.
and Oregon's not winning, which sucks.
So a way to comfort is they haven't counted election day votes yet, or they're still starting to. But at the same time, though, we don't know if it's going to be enough for Kelly to win. Sorry, for Masters to win.
Can I just add one quick point about Arizona? Quickly, I'll be real fast with this. If
Yeah,
you
go for it.
2020, there is not this is the good news for Masters and Lake and all the other down ballot guys. At this same point in 2020, we had 75% of the vote in Maricopa. That meant that 75% of the vote was the mail-in, absentees, early vote. This time, it's only 51% of the vote, all that. So what's left is all election day and the guys who voted but dropped their ballots off on election day. So you're adding another 25% to a more Republican favorable vote batch.
Did you guys see about Kansas too? Kansas, man, I thought we could flip that. It's not looking too good with 94% of the vote in, and Kelly leading by about 2.5.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
see.
crazy. Yeah, go ahead.
Jordan, and then Dylan.
Okay, so yeah, I was actually gonna reiterate the same thing about Arizona because I was just digging a little bit more, and it's that, and I was gonna say, yeah, any state that is waiting on in-person votes to be tabulated, those are the ones to pay attention to specifically, just because it trends. You know that generally for in-person, it's going to be more likely to be a little bit favorable, for the GOP side. So I'm really curious to see where Arizona goes. I'm unbelievably surprised just in general how close Oregon is. I believe that they're kind of in the same role. They may that the in-person voting gets counted last as well. And it would be really interesting to see if, at least like in the governor's race, if they had a flip there, because Oregon, it's just as blue generally as California or Washington is. So that's that. Then what was the other one? Georgia, I was looking at, just to kind of see where they're at with a few things. Or not Georgia, sorry, I opened up the wrong one.
Well, does anybody have?
Yeah, I'm good.
Does anybody have a Georgia update on the Senate race? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I can let you guys know.
I've got one too. I'll just make a projection just for the shits and giggles.
Go ahead.
That it will go to a runoff.
So from what I've seen, I mean, the runoff seems very plausible, but when I look at specifically with Georgia's Senate, so like, for example, when I just looked here, so we go to Georgia here, 92% of the vote is in. Warnock is at 49.4, Walker's at 48.6, which means that if Warnock gains 0.6 more percent and hits 50%, it doesn't go to runoff.
But here's the thing with that, Preston. I'll just add this really quick.
No, I'm not saying that he's going to win. I mean, it could still be very close for sure.
No, the way how I have it right now, and this is just based on what's out and what you got to give. If I had to give an odd, you have a 65% chance at a runoff, 20% at a Walker, or 25, so Walker just wins outright, and 10% Warnock. Warnock has like little to no vote left.
There is good news, though, coming from Nevada. Nevada is starting to have results pour in for governor and Senate.
What's that? Go ahead, bring it in.
So it just started. It's less than 1% reporting, but Laxalt is leading 60-30 in the Senate race. even though there's 1% in. So that's 1% in, and I want to see governor really quickly. Governor race. So the Senate's that. Governor race for Nevada should be down here. And here it is. Oh, here we go. Joe Lombardo, so less than 1% of the vote in. Lombardo is leading with 1% of the, so he's leading 60-32 against Sisolak right now. But that's only with 1% of the vote in.
Now,
So.
okay, now we have some actual results out of Nevada. So we got 40-some% in, and this is Clark. So this is your major voting population center. It was 64% in. Masto had 55 to Laxalt 42. Again, Nevada's freaking weird. They do mail-ins first, and then they do election day, and then they do in-person vote. So it's a 13-point lead for Masto in the Senate race, and that's a 64% in Clark County. Sorry.
I'm scrolling back through certain stuff, but I'm seeing some of these races narrow up. I'm not saying we're going to win them, but like it's kind of funny that I keep on seeing New York narrowing up despite the fact that it was already projected, you know.
Is Arizona officially turning blue, guys? I'm just, like, is it?
Hey,
Is it?
guys, Dylan's had his hand up.
That's good. I just want to know, Dylan, go ahead, and then you can even answer that question if you want, Dylan. I feel like Arizona has been
Yeah,
trending
I'm
blue.
like 2.5 miles from the border with Arizona. I was there just for lunch yesterday. It might be, but I know tonight there's a lot of issues with Maricopa County and a lot of different voting positions because like 50% of their machines were down, and then there was a ask for the judge to extend voting times like they did in Texas, and he denied them. And so I know Carrie Lake and Blake Masters have been tweeting out, about keeping your place in line and holding the line because it's like your constitutional right to be able to vote so long as you are in person in line by 7 o'clock. It is now 10:52 Arizona time, so they should pretty much be done polling by now, unless there's some ridiculously long lines in a few places. There have been a couple issues with that too, but it's interesting to see. I would have expected Carrie to have gotten a lot more. Just my little time in Yuma, there was tons of Carrie Lake signs. I didn't even see a single Katie Hobbs, so I would be very surprised on that. But I don't know. I haven't seen very good polls for Masters. Carrie, different. She hasn't had the same percentage as Blake, so I'm thinking that there's a possibility that Arizona is a little more purple than we were expecting, and a lot of people did vote split. So that would be very interesting to see if they threw it towards Katie instead of Carrie, or if they went for Blake instead of Mr. Astronaut Man. But it'll definitely be interesting. And as to what I was going to say, when I was in Mexico earlier today, I was seeing attack ads for Carrie Lake and Blake Masters, which was kind of funny considering I was in Mexico. So Democrats have been wasting their ad dollars trying to get Mexicans to vote.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is in Mexico?
I think it's because I think it's honestly because they pull the TV channels because it's a close enough buy. And they have mainly American clientele. So I was thinking, they probably just pull English channels from just across the border, which would mean they would pick up the ads. But I thought it was pretty funny. It was seeing American.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Do you hear about what's going on with Mayra Flores?
I heard she lost. That somebody brought up that she lost here, right?
Yeah, she's still behind by 9. I don't think there's a path to recovery. There's 94% reporting.
Oh, she released a.
Hey, good news, guys. Sorry, real quick. Breaking news. The judge won. Our friend the judge.
I was just gonna ask. I was just gonna find out.
Good.
I was just gonna find out. So our judge, our judge. Oh man, yay!
He won at 60%.
Oh, I'm so happy about that. I was just gonna have somebody report that. But you brought it up, Mitty, so you made it so I don't have to. Thank you, Mitty. Appreciate
Jason,
it.
I hate to interrupt,
Sean
but
told
we
me
have a major call. We have one major call. NBC News can now project John Fetterman will win in Pennsylvania. He will be candidate of the
Unbelievable.
great state of Pennsylvania.
No. So we get to have another mentally issued person in Congress or in government other than Joe Biden.
So again, you're just math. This is what Republicans now need. They need to get Nevada. Okay. They need to get Arizona. And they probably need to get the runoff in Georgia in order to get the Senate back. So they need to pick up 2 Dem seats.
Let me ask Dr. G here. If we don't get the Senate, but we get the House, do we have any recourse to give some sort of checks and balances to our country again by just taking the House, or are we kind of screwed?
Sorry, if we blow the Senate, we can create a brief change as far as the Senate. I mean, as long as we present the bill in the if Democrats produce a bill in the Congress, in the House of Representatives, if it does not get voted on by the House, it's not going to be elevated to the Senate, right? So then what ends up happening is if the Senate produces a bill, then it comes with a little bit of challenge. So the issue then becomes is whether or not a lot's going to depend on whether we're equal or tied or behind on the Senate. But if the bill is produced in the Senate, it has a chance of going faster and higher without the Republican say so of the Congress. That's the way I'm understanding this. Now, I'm not. I mean, my background is poli-sci, but to be honest with you, I don't know if we lose the Senate. I mean, it's if God forbid there's ever an impeachment for whatever reason, not that if the Republicans win, we're gonna have that as an issue. The Senate can shut a lot of stuff down. That's their power as long as they have the majority. So the answer to your question is it shouldn't matter. It could, but in very small cases. So like I said, it's not a simple answer, Jason, and I'm sorry about that. But
no, it's okay.
Like I said,
I mean,
like to.
We want some power back. So if we had the House, at least we have something, right?
Right.
Well,
when we have the House, we control all the chairmanships. Marjorie Taylor Greene will be given back her committee assignments and stuff like that. We can, we can subpoena people. We can, Rand Paul has already said he wants to, subpoena Fauci. We can impeach Mayorkas. We can do that. But just to go back to Myra Flores, 27 minutes ago, she tweeted out, the red wave did not happen. Republicans and independents stayed home, all caps. Do not complain about the results if you did not do your part.
Guys.
Well, is she right?
I think she's right. I'm just saying.
I don't mean to interrupt, guys, but this is breaking news.
Go for it.
41% of the vote is in Nevada, and Masto's leading by 13.
Sorry, what are we saying there?
According to this, 40% of votes are in, and Masto in Nevada is leading Black Salt by 13.
Who's the Democrat? Who's the Republican?
Masto's the Democrat.
No, but like I said, yes, that is a substantial amount. But again, the early votes and election day votes, like Arizona, for some God knows reason, I have no idea. We need to fire all these idiots.
It's going to be close.
Oh, it will be close. But you got to remember, the election day vote was heavy GOP.
Yeah, exactly.
Has been heavy Dem for days. And that is all this. So once you get the other vote, it'll probably time out. Your magic number for Black Salt to win is 6 in Clark. 6.5, I think it is. But 6.
Yeah, they just mentioned.
Go ahead, Preston.
Saying, I'm now looking. Yeah, the Democrats just flipped Pennsylvania 48-47. This is a real nightmare right now. Wow. Yeah, the path is looking very dicey here.
Yeah, the New York Times needle hasn't moved since I don't know when, 8 o'clock. It still shows the chance of winning Senate control is a toss-up. It's too close.
God.
And the good news, the chance of winning House control, it was approximately around 70% Republican. It has jumped now up to 81% probable Republican control. One last thing, the best tweet of the night goes to Ben Shapiro. From Red Wave to Red Wedding.
I need that
Oh,
tweet.
wow.
That
That
is
is good. That's
fantastic.
good. That was a good tweet.
You should put it in the nest. That's crazy. So, guys, I want to say really, really quick, encouraging, getting the House, at least we're getting some control back. Obviously, wanted the Senate, but the Senate was already going to be, I know some people were projecting the Senate to be, the Republicans were going to get it, but even Dan Bongino said it's going to be tough, and this shows why. This shows why it's tough. I mean, being able to get the Senate back, we were already just even. So, Preston, what were you going to say? And
All right,
Kelly was just too.
So I took a quick look. I had to look back on here. So Wisconsin is narrowing up again. Wisconsin with 90%, and it's 50.6. Johnson to 49.3.
That's Wisconsin Senate, right, Preston?
Yes.
So the Wisconsin governors, Evers is.
Evers, I can take a look here. If we go to governor here.
Evers is up by almost 3 points. There's about
How many votes in?
Oh yeah, it's 90%, and he's up. It's 50. It's 51 to 48.
Yep. Dang, that was my second place I wanted to move to if it was a blue wave in Minnesota. Just real quick, let me just refresh. Yeah, I still don't think there's enough now. Jim Schultz was starting to close in on Keith Ellison. I don't think there's enough votes out there for him to get it, but there's still 800 precincts out there. It's going to be mostly rural, I believe. My state senator in Minnesota, Roger Chamberlain, part of leadership, has lost his race. I am beside myself on that. I didn't think he'd lose, but the Democrats heavily targeted him. I don't see how Ryan Wilson also. Well, let me update this. Yep, I don't see how Ryan Wilson pulls this out either. So it's a blue wave in Minnesota. Yippee! I am doing trying to.
Sorry, what happened to Attorney General?
It's. I'm beside myself. I can't speak. I'm just so much in shock. Jim Schultz, right? So there's 81.5% of the precincts reporting. So there's about 800 precincts still that hasn't reported. But the difference is Jim Schultz right now is at 48.5. Keith Ellison's at 51.35%. I don't see how Jim Schultz makes it up, but I'm waiting to see if anybody's called it. I'm also trying to see if the legislature in Minnesota, the Senate, had a 1-seat lead, and I'm trying to see if they still have that. There's still quite a few that have not been called yet or not been fully reported, but yeah, I'll update as I can.
Come on, Ron Johnson, pull a miracle again. Don't weed it. You can't lose you, buddy.
Oh my God, yes.
Like this just feels really unreal. I'm just gonna say that.
It really does. I have not. So you guys, I've been a political activist for over 30 years, and I've had some losses that are like, wow, that happened, and I don't remember one like this. that it was
where
so
we were supposed to
looking,
win and
it
then
was
we didn't.
looking so good, and things just did not turn out how we thought they were going to go. So we'll just kind of keep seeing what happens here. Anybody else got any updates? Gaze, Dr. G, Jordan, anybody got any updates?
Well, when you say you've seen some losses and stuff, do you think it's we're seeing a trend over the last few years?
I can't quite figure out what's going on here yet. I mean, I'm somebody that I gotta get a better gut feeling on it, and my gut doesn't tell me what's going on here yet. I could say, maybe abortion ended up playing more of a role than what we all thought it would be.
Yeah, that's interesting.
None of the polling says that. None of the polling said that it is, but maybe all added up, it does. I don't know. And like I said, Minnesota just never really surprises me that much. But I really had a good feeling about at least the state auditor's race and the attorney general. So there's a lot of. Let's just say this. I don't know if any polling got anything right in Minnesota, with the exception of the governor's race. Trafalgar didn't get the governor's race right, but nobody got the attorney general's race right so far, and nobody got the state auditor's race in Minnesota correct. And like I said, I'm trying to do a quick count of seats in the legislature to see where we're at there. Mitty, were you saying something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, my theory is that we are like it's like a law of nature or something. We are destined to be a 50-50 country. So like there's like weird surprises in one direction, and they're offset like automatically, almost like we don't have any control over it. Sometimes it feels like that.
Yeah. So then we need to learn how to work together then, huh, Mitty?
Exactly. Yeah.
We need to get like we do in the Conservative Political Forum and in Late Night Garage, where we have fun and stuff. Dylan, go ahead, and then Katz, and then Charles.
Okay, thank you. So yes, also Brian Kemp won re-election. So Stacey Abrams can lose for a third consecutive time in a row. She's 3 for 3 now. Quite funny, actually, quite humorous.
I wish she would stop running. She says the stupidest stuff. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm still surprised she's running for governor, considering she's still president. But whatever.
Well, she was still the governor until she finally conceded this year. So
she did concede,
for 4
though.
years,
We're making progress, guys. We're making progress.
She did concede. True. Give credit to where it is due. One thing that's interesting is, yes, with Mitty, there's actually a thing in math for statistical probability, and with people choosing at random. So with human beings, we don't actually choose at random when we try and choose at random. We try and make things equal. And there's plenty of studies that the more you try and randomize something as a human being, the more symmetrically even it will be. And so there might be... Huh?
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So there might be something in play specifically in the United States where there is like a vote equilibrium where people won't vote for one extreme or the other. And it's just like a butterfly reaction of sorts where there's enough votes in one direction and another where it's like this perfect balance where it just doesn't move at all. Because the United States has become more polarized, it's ironically become more gridlocked. It doesn't move as much. And so I do think we're going to see a point where both political parties are really stagnating. They won't be able to use the same issues they have been for the past 20 years. You can't really hold on to abortion. You can't really hold on to immigration. You can't really hold on to infrastructure. You can't hold on to prison reform. And so either things are going to start moving or people are going to start, I think, looking to a third party. We've seen that with the Libertarians. I know people can get very pissed with them in Pennsylvania right now. They have 1.4% of the vote. That's more than I think they've ever gotten for a Senate race. So, people are starting to vote, a third party, and, it might not be much, but I mean, if your party's going to stagnate and you're only flipping 1 or 2 seats and they just flip back, a couple years later, you're going to have a much bigger issue down the line long term. And especially if this trend continues where it is this equilibrium, then nothing is going to get done. And at that point, our two-party system has stopped like going back and forth. And at this point, it's just a stalemate, which I think is going to be very interesting. Either the parties are going to adapt and actually make change, or they're going to collapse.
Thanks, Dylan. And I appreciate that. Hey, Mitty, would you do me a favor? Down at the bottom in the comment section, somebody's been posting some stuff I haven't had a chance to read. I just want to know if you'll look through there and see if you see anything interesting. Would you be okay
Sure.
doing that?
Yep. Got it.
Perfect. Thank you. And then we've got Katz, Jeannie, and then Jordan.
So, have we heard anything about the Alaska race with the Rhino Lisa Murkowski, who
I can answer that. I think I've looked, but I have
Okay.
not seen any percentages come in yet. But I'll let you know in a few minutes. I can look again.
So
Oh,
remember, Alaska is ranked choice voting. So I don't know when they will be reporting. Last I saw, nothing had been in yet. So just remember
okay.
that they are, this year is their new way of voting, which is ranked choice voting, and that I don't think we'll see anything until tomorrow, and maybe a second day after that. I remember the primary with Palin and the other two took days. I think you're looking at that for the general as well.
Can
And to give
you
you,
explain that just briefly, this ranked choice thing?
So how it goes, and I'm not sure how it's counted. I wish Cynic was here. He could explain it much better than I could. So you're given a ballot, and who is your first choice? Who is your second choice? Who's your third choice, I believe?
Gays for Trump, I think, knows more about that.
I can explain it. I can explain because we have it. I've got
Okay.
it where I live. So ranked
Sorry
choice
for interrupting you,
voting
Kelly.
is you just
No, that's okay.
so,
Hey, Brock, where do you live?
so in
What's
Canada, but like so to choose our like our election system, to choose our leaders, it's a ranked choice voting system. So you just keep going until someone hits a threshold. So what happens is in ranked choice voting, like Kelly said, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So at the end of the first ballot, if no one hits 50, you go on to a second ballot. Fourth place.
Hey,
So
Brock.
whoever voted fourth place. So let's say I'll use Buzz Kelly for an example because he's in the Alaska Senate race. So whoever ranked on the ballot Buzz Kelly's second choice, that vote would go to whoever the second choice person is. Okay? Whoever they ranked as third, that would go to that person. Fourth would go to that person. Then a new round kicks in. So you count again. No one hits 50. All right. So then you eliminate the third person. Whoever they're ranked as second, third, or fourth, their ballots get associated by like whoever they ranked. And you just keep going until you hit 50.
Yep, you've got you've got it. No, I'm just looking at Fox News, which I don't know how well. Okay, there we go. So for the Senate results, right now there's 25% of the vote reported, or 25% of the precincts reported in. And Kelly, who knows how to pronounce her last name? Shabaka, right?
Yeah,
Kelly
that sounds
Shabaka,
right.
You own that crap.
Kelly Shabaka has a 6 percentage point lead over Lisa Murkowski. And then the Democrat is in third, but like way down there. Like Kelly Shabaka has 39,632 votes. Lisa Murkowski has 34,479 votes. And this Patricia Cheesebro has 8,000 votes.
Wow, that's not what I was expecting to hear, but I'm good with that.
But remember, it's only 25% of the vote in.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't really know what that really means because I don't live in Alaska. So just it's early. Like these are the first numbers that I have seen all night from Alaska.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Jeannie, you're up.
I was just going to say it'll be interesting when they actually start doing analysis as to the reason, Republicans may not have done as well. Was it because people didn't go out to vote? Were the issues not clear? They'll come up with some kind of reasoning that, and plus, why was the poll so wrong? Those are the questions I would like to hear the answers to.
Yeah, I agree. Gays for Trump?
What the hell was I going to say? I'm sorry, I'm watching CNN because they're showing Fetterman's campaign headquarters, and I have the sound off, so the screen doesn't say that he's. Yes, it says soon Fetterman to speak to his supporters. So if you are interested in watching that, turn on at least CNN. The New York Times Needle, their projection for the House is 226 Republicans, 209 Democrats.
That's close to. That's crazy.
I honestly thought we were going to lose the House for a certain
But
amount of time.
right now the House is up. Right now the Republicans are up on the House, but we'll see how that goes too. But we got hands. We'll go Jordan, Preston, and then Trump Wonderworld.
So I was going to actually make a comment on ranked choice voting, and where, and also a comment on, the impact that some of these third parties or alternate parties like libertarians and stuff can have within these votes. That's kind of where the ranked choice voting can be helpful. Because if it is that you have a state where it first looks like it's pretty close for one or the other, and then that second choice for the people who really want that libertarian candidate is almost always going to be a Republican candidate or a progressive for a Democrat. It kind of helps shore things up. It allows for a little bit more freedom and in choice. And honestly, I would like to see some other options on the ballot.
Sorry to
and
interrupt,
actually,
but
no, you're good.
Fetterman's on.
Oh, fun! I'm gonna have to watch this too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just I think that it might be beneficial for this country to have a different option. Because there is some pretty severe polarization and some kind of wonky ideologies or means in which the furthest sides, I'm kind of muddling my words here, which isn't like me, or kind of maybe is, I don't know. But yeah, I think the hardcore Republicans, the ones that are, super Trump, can't do anything wrong and can't lay off of, the election, are hurting, the general elections and stuff. And then on the other side, the super woke ideologues on the left are hurting, their chances. And if there were other options on the table, it might benefit all of us. But I could be wrong, and we could just stay in sort of a gridlock forever. Who knows?
Thank you, Jordan. I forgot, Charles. I'm sorry. Your hand's been up way longer than the other people I called on. You are next. I apologize.
Oh, you're fine. I just wanted to give an update on Pennsylvania. Unfortunately I don't think Dr. Oz is gonna win at this point. His rural is I'm sorry, I can't even speak right now. I got a couple drinks in me. His rural margins are not good at all. Like, he's only getting, for instance, in Perry County, and this county was almost an 80% county for Trump. He's only getting in the 60s, which is not good at all. And even in the suburbs, he's not even doing well. Like in Cumberland County, he's only getting 52% of the vote.
You know,
And
it's
I
already
know,
been called for Fetterman, don't you? Like, there's no way
yeah,
Oz can win now.
yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to like, and but then for the state house and state senate in Pennsylvania, it actually looks pretty good for Republicans. Surprisingly, they look like they're going to hold on, especially the state senate. They're going to hold on to that at least. But yeah, it's not looking it. It's pretty embarrassing, honestly, how a guy who can't even talk is going to win. That's all I
Yeah,
have to
that'll
say.
be
Thanks.
that'll be
So
interesting.
that's what
Thanks.
No, but that's what happens when you put a debate past when 1 million people already voted. Like, yeah, they've been watching and be like, oh shit, I'll kick the shit out of them. But it's like, well, we can't redraw our ballot.
Yeah, they need to reform the early voting system in Pennsylvania. It's actually an embarrassment.
And
Like,
in Minnesota, although
it's
I
an
don't think it had.
embarrassment.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
He's gonna be a joke, Fetterman is, when he's up there. I hear that his wife is probably gonna be the one in control of a lot of the stuff that he does.
Sounds like
That was
Biden.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it's going to be, I don't know. It's sad to see. It's already hard to see somebody with dementia speaking all the time and then go, "Oh, that's one of the leaders of our country." Now, other people across the world can look and go, "Oh, look, they like having people with mental problems and problems with who've had strokes. They like people who can't speak well leading their country." It looks bad on the United States of America.
I
Preston,
agree.
exactly. Yeah, it's Preston and then Trump Wonderworld.
So I have a few updates. Yeah, this has just been not fun, but I am been looking, and so I have a few interesting stuff that has to do with Senate, and that is an update in the state of Nevada, which 42% is reporting right now. Cortez Masto, the Democrat, is at 54%. Adam Laxalt is at 43. So it's about 11-point difference, and that's where that is right now. So I mean, there still is time, but I don't know. And then Alaska, 30% of the vote is in, and Kelly Shabaka is leading by 6 points, 47 to 41, right now in there. I mean, that could definitely narrow up, but I'm just saying that Alaska is counting. So
Kelly
there's that.
Shabaka, is that the
Kelly Shabaka is the Trump endorsed one, not the Rhino.
She's a Republican. Okay.
Yeah, but please, after everything that's happened tonight, don't get excited.
I am not getting excited, Preston. Not look, Washington. We got blown out here by
Wait,
a lot of.
margin was Jesus Christ 14. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, all these like I don't understand what happened. Like with the margins, it still blows my mind.
Yeah, it's weird.
I wanted to bring up this point. You know what I knew is going to be not a good night? When you see the exit polls and literally 32% are just voting on the economy and about 28 to 29 are on abortion.
Hey guys, I've
That's
got
how you know you
news.
lost.
I've got news.
What's the news?
Wisconsin Republican Tim Michels has conceded the race to Tony Evers.
No.
Yep.
Yikes.
He's
Dang.
either just made his speech or he's making it now. Jason Calvi is reporting that he's quoted.
How did all the popular incumbents win?
I know.
Hey, NASCAR, is Ron Johnson still ahead? Please.
Ever
God.
so slightly,
I
yes.
hope he is. I hope he wins.
Ever so slightly. You want the percentages? I'll give it to you right now.
Go for it.
92% in. 92% is in right now, and it is. Hold on, it's way closer than that. It's making it sound like
the New York.
I think
Times
it's
has it as a 2-point race. They have it as likely R. Thank God. That's what the New York Times.
So they have it as likely R.
Yeah.
It's a little under 2 points. It's like 1 point something.
I've got Ron Johnson at 50.75%, Mandela Barnes at 49.25, at 92.5% in. There is about a 30,000 vote difference. I still think it's too close to call.
Is Ron Johnson? Where is Senate or House? What is he? Preston?
Senate.
Governor of Wisconsin.
Senate, yeah.
So that would be a Senate win for us, of course.
It'd be a hold.
So if we go back to Senate, so it's pretty much critical that so Pennsylvania's already been called, Wisconsin's at 92%, Arizona's at 53%, Georgia's at less than 95%, and Nevada's at 42%.
Georgia's going to a runoff, it looks like.
Yeah, Georgia's going to runoff. If we look right now, Georgia 49.5 Warnock to 48.5 Walker. It's a 1 point difference.
Damn.
Yikes, that's crazy. Trump Wonderworld, welcome to talking about our races. Do you got anything to add to one of the races?
Hey, what's up?
We're talking about the races, so you know what's going on now.
I know. Iowa. I'm gonna go grab my headphones so you can hear me better. But Iowa just banked every damn thing that you think you could bank, and we didn't think we could do it, and we did it. So, yay! 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 I'm celebrating. But if you watch the mainstream news, I had it on Cat Turd all night till 11, and and my husband had it on the screen of our. Here, let me plug this in. My husband had it on my husband had it on the screen, and it said all our candidates were losing by like 40 points. I'm not kidding. And then I texted when I was on the, Cat Turd After Dark, whatever it was called. I'm like, oh my God, they're stealing Iowa. And then Cat Turd's like, no, they just play this game. They play that game, and then it will be over. And can I just say something to that woman in Canada, or no, not Alaska, that has those ballots that you fill out, my first choice, second choice, third choice? I would not participate. I'd fill out your first choice and leave it at that. It's just my opinion. I don't know. I don't live there, but I know for me, when I go to vote, there's no second, third, fourth, fifth. It's not an option for me.
So I need to give a breaking on some things here. The House is leading. Republicans are leading 190 to 152 in the House, and right now the Senate is tied at 48 apiece. So, Trump, we're gonna move on to some other hands because they're up. Thank you for your opinion on that. We always appreciate what you have to say. But Kelly, we can go ahead and do some more hands. Katz has something to say.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, I have a question, and it may sound insensitive, and I'm sorry for that. But I feel that it's within reality to ask. So if Fetterman drops dead at some point, how does he get replaced?
Shapiro would replace him. The new governor.
Well,
the governor.
Would it be replaced temporarily until a special election
Yeah,
could be
there
held?
would be a special election.
I mean, it depends on when in the term it happens as well, I believe, right? Or is it just?
I think so. I'm not sure on that. But
Yeah,
but like I know it sounds sadistic, but like that's kind of a real possibility. I mean, the guy can't talk.
Well, let's be realistic, you guys. He can talk. I mean, he did have a stroke. It wasn't major. He can still walk and he's ambulatory. He does speak without too much trouble, but I mean,
I'm
it's
John Fetterwoman.
you know, it is a connection between what he's thinking and what comes out of his mouth, but he can still he's still doing things. It's not like he's in a wheelchair, half paralyzed, having more issues cognitively than what he had shown at the debate. So let's be realistic. He's not. Is it possible he has another one? I don't know, because I don't know what medication he's on. I don't know what exactly his story is on his health history. So let's be realistic. I mean, he could live another 20 years. Who knows?
Well, can I shed light on that?
Please do. Go ahead.
So there was a doctor on Tucker Carlson a couple days ago that said something like the type of stroke that he had, I think, was caused by like a clot in a certain artery or vein or whatever it was, like by his heart. And this is just me paraphrasing, that may not be exactly correct, but basically this doctor said that when someone has a stroke due to that reason, or the origin of the clot or the location of the clot, he said something like there's a 50% chance that within 5 years the person will have another stroke and it will be not a good outcome. So that kind of prompted my question, because it just didn't sound good. That's all.
I have a quick question. So, how's the House and Senate looking? Is it a possibility? Because what I've seen from Fox News is they're like, oh, it's a red puddle and it doesn't look good, and this is an indictment on Republicans and all this.
Well, right now
No,
the
I agree
House
with that.
Republicans are up. It's 190 to 152 in the House, and then the Senate is tied at 48 right now.
What is the prediction, though, or what is it leaning in your opinion?
Party plus
Preston,
5 Republicans.
Preston, go ahead and bring that update, Preston.
Yeah, sure. What do you need an
Of
update
how
on?
that would lean.
All right. So Pennsylvania flip, it's off the table. We can't worry about that anymore. So it's at 48 to 48 right now. So Alaska, we go back to Alaska. Alaska's still at 30%. It's still the same. I don't think anything's coming. Let me refresh it really quick to see if
Some sled dog.
okay, Alaska's still at 30 and it's still the same. Chewbacca's still leading by 6. So we get that one. That's 49 to 48. So that's another seat. And then there's Nevada. Nevada is still 54 to 43, and there's 42%. And let's say we win that one, that's 50. We still need to win either Arizona. Wait, 40, 48, 49. Yeah, we either need to win Arizona, Wisconsin, and Georgia. Now, if we lose both Arizona and Georgia, but hold on to Wisconsin, we get 51 to 49. Very narrow. We barely win the Senate. Now,
it looks like Georgia's the most doable. Arizona looks far off, and I don't know about Wisconsin or which one you were saying.
Well, Wisconsin,
Arizona looks far off because we're missing half the vote.
No, the thing is with Arizona's at 53%, number one. Number two, election day ballots are still yet to be counted in. And Carrie Lake said very recently that in a recent dump, at least 80% of them were for her.
So the New York Times has a good, they call it the state of play in key Senate races. The Democrats need 5 to win. The Republicans need 5 to win. The Democrats have Colorado, New Hampshire, and Pennsylvania. The Republicans have North Carolina, Ohio, and Wisconsin. So that leaves Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada. So whichever party wins 2 of those 3 will have a 51-49. And if a party wins all 3, it would be 52-48.
But we're crushing the House last time I checked, right?
Crushing is very...
Not crushing. The New York Times has us at 226
folks
Republican to
are
209 Democrat.
you folks
Dude,
are
this
still
is called a
normies.
this is called a puddle, or I like to call a drop of
Barely.
water.
It's almost like neutral.
So what if a red wave or tsunami have been like what people were predicting? What would that have looked like, kind of?
A tsunami would have been like 250 seats in the House, number one, and the Senate 54.
Maybe even 55. If it was
Maybe
tsunami.
even
Gotcha.
55 in Washington. I don't know.
So it just looks like whatever the turnout wasn't there. Or I don't know. The policies maybe
No,
were too extreme.
what I don't understand is, and what many Republicans, including myself, are trying to wrap around, 2 years, you cried, you screamed, you begged. What is wrong with this country? And then you vote for the same people anyway, because apparently, like, it makes no sense. And I'm sorry.
Fetterman is the ultimate example of that, in my opinion. Like, how could I just don't understand how people could vote for somebody who's clearly not up to the task of
Well, here's the
being.
silver lining. 2020 was supposed to be a very valuable lesson to voters. You voted for a dementia patient, and he won. Now, 2022 was supposed to be the ultimatum. Are you willing? Do you regret what you did in 2020 by voting for Biden? And do you want change? And most of them didn't want change. They overwhelmingly looked at the Republican, said, nope, ties to Trump, voted for the Democrat, didn't look back. And that's exactly what happened tonight.
So I have a question
to
for
be
you,
fair,
Preston. Hold on, guys.
Okay.
Preston, would you be happy if we at least were tied in the Senate, and how does it look if we're tied in the Senate? Is it
Well, if we're tied in, what do you mean tied in? Well, if it's tied in the Senate, then
50-50?
Kamala Harris has the tie.
Yes,
Or breaks
but at
the
least
tie,
we're
yeah.
tied because remember the Senate. There were some things Biden wanted to push through that were ridiculous about COVID, and because of we were tied in
Joe
the
Manchin
Senate.
and Kristen. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on being? Are we realistically? Does it look like we can tie in the Senate?
Possibly. I have my predictions were all out of whack because this cycle just screwed everything up. So my governor's predictions are completely
There
off
was
for the
a
most
big
part.
drop, by the way, guys. I don't know if you heard. It was for Yuma and Greenland. It went to Kari Lake for 76.4% to Katie Hobbs 23.5%. Just came in. Actually, sorry, about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, New York Times has both Nevada and Arizona as toss-up right now. So if we win both of them, then we control the Senate. But if we lose one, then Georgia. It depends on Georgia.
Is the Senate race for Arizona Blake Masters or is that Kari Lake?
It's Blake Masters for the Senate
Okay,
race.
yeah, I thought so, and he's
Hey.
a far like chance candidate from what I've heard. The chances of Blake Masters winning is probably one of the same as like Lee Zeldin winning for New York.
Let me
No, not
let,
like
I
let
got
me
Dave.
let me update you on that 82% or something from Yuma. If you go to the Secretary of State's website for Arizona, they did just dump 7,000 ballots from Yuma. Those are, I don't know, the numbers don't really add up that well. There's a large difference in terms of numbers of votes right now. Katie Hobbs is leading by 163,470 votes. Yuma isn't a huge number that's going to affect that too much, I think. So just be aware of that. New York Times might say it, but they could say 82% of it went to Kari Lake. Well, is that 7,000 votes? That's not a lot. So just be aware of that. New York Times, I never go to them, you guys. I have never trusted their numbers or how they look at things. So I just want to say that.
Because you said that Katie Hobbs is winning by 100 and something thousand in Yuma County.
No. Overall in the whole state,
Okay.
Katie Hobbs has a lead of by 162,800 votes. She's got 782,000 votes, and Kari Lake has 619,000. So I don't, it's really confusing on how they are reporting.
A Republican flip, by the way, guys, for New York, 3rd Congressional District just announced.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna flip a couple seats in New York. It looks like Sean Patrick Maloney's gonna lose too.
Which is a pretty big shocker, right? That many flips in New York.
I'm sure
So,
everyone will be glad to hear this, but in my great state of Tennessee, slavery has officially been banned as punishment.
oh, there
Well,
you
there's
go.
a silver lining. I mean,
Hey,
I definitely voted for that. That's for sure. Sorry to butt in, but I saw that on the ballot and I was like, well, yeah, that's a good thing.
Did you look at the
Wow,
order
bro.
of hands, Kelly? Because I didn't see.
uh,
We got a bunch of hands up.
no, but
Or
let's start with Eli, then go to Brock, then go to Dr. G, and then Preston.
okay, perfect.
Would you guys say you were more surprised with 2016 or more surprised with today, results wise?
I'm just gonna quickly. I don't know how you would not pick this one. Like, I'm making a bold prediction here, but I think this year is the GOP's version of 2012, which was, oh, we're going to pick up the Senate, we're going to add seats in the House, everything's going to be great. No, they lost seats in the House, they lost seats in the Senate, they lost everything. And then I think 2014 will be like 2024. Will be, you see GOP get a crap ton in the Senate, a decent chunk in the House, nothing overkill. But like, I think this is just their 2012.
Yeah, it's probably good for y'all, like GOP for 2024 prospects, because it's like a good wake up call type of thing, like just oh yeah,
Eli,
for you to
since
Hey,
form.
Eli, the depression will hit and we'll all be good to go.
well, the last time the country had a depression, a Democrat president took 3 terms. So let's be aware of that. Eli, let me just tell you, I am actually more surprised by 2016 than tonight. So I don't know if that helps you at all. I mean, I'm not
Interesting.
happy about tonight, but I was always cautious. I just think Trump, I'm not bashing him. I'm just saying he's a figure that you can't quite figure out which way things are going to go with him. So that's not a bash. It's just he's a different figure. And I'm used to that with Jesse Ventura in Minnesota, that which way are we going here? What's going to happen?
Let me say this. Hey Ed, you keep requesting a mic, but you've been kind of rude and stuff. We're not gonna give you one. We all know what you're doing, so I'm sorry, man, but you've had a couple chances, and we don't like what's going on. So I just
He's
want.
gone. He left.
Yeah, he probably left because I said that.
Yeah, you did, which is good.
Yeah, I
so
for
you were
one
going.
would have bet.
W.
I would
All
have
right,
bet.
so we're gonna real quick. Dr. G and then Preston, and then whoever's trying to speak can jump in.
Who were the last 2 people that won the Senate positions for the GOP that you said turned it from 47 to 48?
Who are you asking
Ohio,
that question
I
of,
think.
Dr. G?
It's just a
Ohio, North
question.
Carolina.
It apparently we went. It was 48, 47 for a while, and then Jason
Now
said
it's
it
tied
became.
at 48. Yeah, that's what the
Who was the
Fox is
last one?
showing.
Who was the last one that got it?
I don't know.
It was Mike Lee.
Oh, Mike Lee got it to
What
get
state
48.
was he from?
Utah.
Okay. I mean, and by the way, I just wanted to address one other thing. Fetterman, there are 3 types of stroke. One is ischemic, one is embolic, and the other one is hemorrhagic. Ischemic is when you have a narrowing of the blood vessel and the area distal to it gets aggravated because there's no blood supply or the perfusion's low. Embolic is you get a complete shutoff of the flow and that part gets damaged. I don't know what his treatment was, whether he got TPA or he had an embolic surgical intervention. Because if he had a hemorrhagic, this wouldn't be a discussion. So the likelihood of him having a stroke, I mean, the percentages, depending on what medication you're on, depends on the type of stroke that you're on. So the stroke that you had. So if he had an ischemic event and they put him on, say, like an anti-blood clotting medication, like, Eliquis, Coumadin, whatever, there's a higher grade of risk of bleeding. But the other thing is if you had an ischemic event, they put him on Plavix or an antiplatelet. So, I mean, the percentages, just in case you're curious and you're following this, is it's about a 15 to 20% risk of having another stroke, and that's assuming that the reason why he had the stroke, whether he was smoking tobacco or his blood pressure, I mean, there could be a variety of reasons why that went sideways and he had that event. So I'm going to just say that he's a pretty injured guy. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there that, I mean, not knowing what his his history was about what happened to him, but I mean, it's going to be a tumultuous 6 years with this guy. So I mean, that's the downside of him being elected senator. We got him for 6 years. So I mean,
Dr. G,
yeah.
can I ask you a question? I had heard somewhere during the summer that he has either some condition or something that he was warned he needed to take better care of himself over the last few years, and he blew it off.
That is a very open. That is, I don't know
Okay,
anything about
that's
the
cool.
guy. I don't know anything about the guy from. I
Yep.
mean, there could be anything. I mean, it could
Yep.
be coagulopathy. It could be anything. Who knows?
Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
I mean, I mean, it's a reasonable thing. I mean, most patients who have poor blood pressure or smoke or do other lifestyle events don't take care of themselves. I mean, it doesn't exactly look like the healthiest of guys. I mean, I was almost tempted to make a joke about he's probably going to get like a what do you call it, Reebok's going to give him a basketball short endorsement or something.
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna get a contract to wear those hoodies and shorts all the time.
Wouldn't
anyway.
him being 6'8" be a factor? Or at least what I've heard is just being just being really tall can sometimes be or just like being really big.
Can tall being a risk factor?
Or like being really big, like him.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to try to guess what this guy's medical history is. It seems he had a pretty decent stroke, and I don't wish harm on the guy, and I'm not going to sit there and try to judge what he did. I mean, that's Lord knows I never examined him, but I mean, I can tell you what I'm hearing when I see him talk. I mean, part of what I do for a living is I treat acute strokes, in the emergency department with TPA and what have you. So I don't know what this guy got, and Lord knows I wouldn't expect him to publish it, but I mean, I'm just saying we got this guy for 6 years, and it's going to be an interesting scenario to see how he worsens or gets better depending on this goes. I mean,
Hey, Dr.
yeah.
G, question for you.
Yeah.
When somebody has a stroke like that, I know I had a friend that had a stroke, and he started exercising to help. Doesn't doing cardio help in that? Because I don't think Fetterman's going to be doing that stuff anytime soon. But if somebody does cardio, can that help change their outcome so they don't get another one?
Well, I mean, you want to reduce the risk factors. So let's say, for argument's sake, he's got blood pressure problems. I mean, if he takes appropriate medication and he does a weight loss and he loses, weight, and his blood pressure gets under control, sure, that's in his favor to, help him. I mean, there's other, changes that you can do, but I mean, weight loss and blood pressure being the worst ones for anybody having a stroke are the things that I aim for. So, I mean, again, nobody knows this guy's health history. I mean, at least I don't. And other than the fact that I can see the expressive and receptive aphasia, I mean, it's funny. You can hear him talk negatively. I mean, I mean, when he said, I support Roe v. Wade, I'm against Roe v. Wade. He can't give you an affirmative or a negative sometimes, and that's called expressive aphasia. But then you ask him to read a teleprompter, and you can see that he's not having a good experience doing that. So that's a receptive aphasia. And then there's like different ways of describing that as well. There's like graphic and then hearing and then trying to digest what you're hearing. So I mean, there's different versions of that. So I mean, the guy's got major problems. I just don't know how 6 years. I mean, I've seen patients have one stroke and they're done, but I mean, I've seen multiple strokes and they whittle off a little bit at a time depending on how bad their health history was. So if he was a smoker and he just had bad vessels in his brain, you can wait for the next event to happen. It's going to happen, but who knows when? I mean, I don't know anything about the guy in a medical state, but this is what I see on a daily basis. I've seen patients come in. I'm like, oh God, he got another stroke again. You see the same patient come in, you're like, it happens. So I mean, this is a big deal, and this is 1 out of 100. That 1 out of 100 people can be a very serious event if we lose them. So the governor or whoever would have to reappoint a senator for them, or there'd be a runoff. If there's an event and he becomes unable to perform his duties.
Thank you, Dr. G. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, so who's next, Kelly?
I have a question.
Preston's next.
excuse me, sorry.
We'll get
All
to you,
right.
Truth, by the way. We'll get to you, Truth. Don't worry.
No worries.
So House is 188 to 156 right now. We're slowly getting there. And then I wanted to look back. So still, okay, Alaska's at 51% in Alaska. Kelly Shabaka is leading by 6 still, apparently. I don't know how, but she is. So she's beating Murkowski there so far. Wisconsin is 93% of the votes are in, and it's still like below 51% to 49.2. It doesn't fully say for some reason. And then Georgia looks like it's less than a percentage point now. It's 0.8 now. It's 0.8 difference.
Is that tightening?
Yeah, it was tightening because Warnock was at 49.6. Now he's at 49.4.
Oh, okay.
So it's ever so slowly tightening. There's less than 95% reporting. Arizona, 53%. That's 57 to 41 right there. But I would ignore that until we get election day votes. So overall, and then I also would like to add I said Nevada, 42% of the vote is in Nevada, and Masto is leading by 11 percentage points. And then if we move to Nevada governor here, yeah, here it is. 34% is reporting out of the state of Nevada, and Sisolak is leading by 9.5.
Okay, Jason, did you want Truth to speak next? Then it would be Gaze and then Brock.
Hey y'all. So Truth here. My husband and I just got back from our neighbor's celebration party. He ran for against a woman who was for not critical race theory, and he won tonight. So we were probably the only Republicans in this party tonight, but he was our neighbor, and we wanted to, be there for him and celebrate, but at the same time, both of us were like, fuck, this sucks. We didn't want him to win. We didn't vote for him. It's like, where do you draw the line between being a neighbor who is supportive of other people's wishes and wants, and where do you draw the line of being somebody who, even though they're your neighbor and you like them as people, where do you draw the line between what you feel like is right? It's
What do you mean, Truth? Like how do you treat him? How do you
yeah,
do
well,
business
no,
with
I would
him?
always treat him like he's my neighbor. He's a nice human being, but he's just opposite of what my husband and I believe in and fight for. So it's like we went there and we were like, yay, good for you. And I really didn't expect him to win. And so I put on my poker face and I was like, oh, yay, good for you, but I just didn't expect it. And even if he didn't win, I wouldn't be rubbing it in his face or anything, but I guess I'm just surprised after everything that has been going on and how the economy is and everything that everybody that was there and showed up, they were right on with whatever he was promoting, and it just I guess I was just surprised. I don't know.
Can I give you some advice?
Please.
I think you give yourself some time. You congratulated him. You were at the party. You put on a good poker face. I think you give yourself some time of not engaging politically, and just continue to just be a neighbor and
Right.
then because I don't think I could give you good advice tonight. There's just too much going on, and
Oh, I know.
it's all still so
Absolutely.
fresh, so give yourself some time, a couple of weeks, a month. He doesn't get inaugurated until what, July or January, I assume.
I mean, it's a very, it's a small position, but it's a position, period. And
What did he win for election?
he is he is a, oh gosh.
Is it school board or?
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so he won a seat on your local school board.
But it's disappointing because, and he's a wonderful human being, but he just has the opposite views that I feel. I mean, his kids have gone through prestigious schools, and he doesn't speak for everybody, but it just feels like he is speaking for everybody, and that's upsetting because his kids go through the best schools, and his wife is a doctor, and he's been newly elected to this position, which makes me feel like he doesn't understand the most people that are in the majority, that he's not in this majority.
Does anybody else in this space might have advice for Truth?
Brock, you got something?
It was just about a race, but I'm not. Yeah,
Truth,
but
let's
I'll let somebody give advice to Truth. I'm not really good with
like I said,
political
Truth,
stuff.
I think it's so fresh tonight. We're all kind of dealing with, being hit with this shock wave. I don't think anybody's going to be able to give you good advice tonight. I'd recommend come back to another space. Let's, I have a feeling we'll all be kind of debriefing over the next week or two, and I'm sure Jason will hold some spaces of different issues that have coming out of this election that you might get more advice as
Maybe
things
Jordan
go
has
on.
something. He just put his hand up. I don't know if it's
Go ahead, Jordan.
Yes. Yeah. So here's the way I look at it, right? You're his neighbor. He won election on school board. That gives you a very direct opportunity to have discussions regarding discernment. And that's kind of been my word of the day. Because a lot of people who buy into things like CRT and stuff like that, right? They don't really know the impact. They only know the heart. You said he's a good person. You said he's that you like him. So his heart is probably in the right place, but maybe he just needs a little education. So don't get discouraged at all. You're in an ideal position to be able to teach him or guide him in a direction where he can start to see through the veil. So just treat him with more love than you have before. And really just pour love onto him, because that's how you break through. That's the only way to break through. If you're, if there's any bit of vitriol, it'll get thrown right back at you. But if you, slowly start suggesting, oh yeah, I've been reading this person lately, and they say some really interesting things, or, I can see how there are some things when it comes to history that we should probably be teaching differently, but I think that there's XYZ. Like, there's ways to initiate conversation to sway opinion from a place of love and discernment. So I don't think you should be discouraged even in the slightest bit. I think that you should be encouraged because he's your neighbor. You have a direct line. And that's more than most of us could even hope for the people that we voted for or against. So that's what I would suggest, and I don't think you need to be disappointed at all. The fact that you were there and you were the only Republicans there shows that you're above reproach when it comes to support of a neighbor, and that is something that is so important these days. We really do have to just love and support our neighbors and our community members, regardless of what they believe, because if we're the party of hate and vitriol, we get nowhere. And that, not to beat a dead horse, Jason, but that's why I don't support Trump. Hey, bye.
Thank you for stopping on that, because we're not gonna go there. But hey, let me just say this, Kelly. You are correct. I'm hosted. We have this conservative political forum tomorrow night. Katz will probably be bringing up in her Reducation segments, because she's doing double Reducation tomorrow night, by the way. So you should come and enjoy it. But during my headlines hour, I think I'm just going to make it a debrief hour for everybody, Republican or Democrat, to talk about how you're feeling, and we're going to go through that. So, I think it's good, Kelly, and I probably will host other spaces this week, and you might see Kelly or Mitty helping me co-host, or whoever I usually have, or anybody, But I think it's important for us to talk about it. But we just have to stay positive. That's all we can do. We can't, we just got to stay positive. That's what I got to say about that for now. Who is next, Kelly? You there, Kelly? Or Mitty?
Oh, sorry.
Who is next? Was it?
Gaze is next, and then Brock.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So, Kevin McCarthy is speaking right now in front of a backdrop that says "Take Back the House." I listened to a little bit of it before I heard my name. You would think it was a red tsunami listening to him. He's talking about, from sea to shining sea, and we swept the state of Iowa, and we defeated the DCCC chair for the first time in 40 years. But anyway,
The hell
my
happened?
question that I just kind of want to throw out there, people can answer it or not. It's kind of controversial, but I tweeted this out, and I've been getting a lot of responses. I said, question for Republicans and conservatives. Democrats' top issue was abortion by 43%. If we lose the Senate and a red wave, was it worth it to have the Supreme Court overturn Roe v. Wade?
Yes,
Can I
because it was
just
terrible
interrupt?
law. It was terrible law that should have never been implemented back in the 70s.
Do you mind if I say something about
was
this?
How do you put your hand up to speak, by the way?
go down to the bottom, hit that little heart,
Oh,
and you'll see the icons come up, or the emojis, and then the hand will be off to the
Far
right.
right side.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Who wanted to speak?
I did. I had something to say about this because
Who's I did? Sorry.
Tarantino, Jaws. It's me.
Okay.
Okay, so I did hear that argument that I think Gaze or Trump was saying in regards to overturning Roe versus Wade. Here is what I'm going to say about that, and here's my moderate position. I honestly think, while it was correct that Roe versus Wade was overturned, I do believe, had abortion been legalized in this country the right way, I feel like we would have stronger showings in more urban areas, but at the cost of, I guess, at the same time, I guess, morals, kind of like what the UK has at the moment. And what I mean by correct, legalizing it the correct way, I'm not by some ruling. I mean, like passing a constitutional amendment, like what Ireland recently did, and have that go through. And if that passed, then there was literally nothing for anyone to do about it. And I'm saying this as from the devil's advocate point of view, as someone who is personally pro-life, except for cases, logistical cases of rape and incest. That's my take.
Okay. Thank you. Truth. You thank you for...
Brock was next, then Truth.
Brock. Okay, I didn't see Brock's hand up. Now I see Brock's hand up. Thank you, Kelly.
Jason, just back to your point, and like when you host the next space and you want to know how Republicans, Independents, and Dems feel, Dems will be the happiest people on earth. Republicans are going to wish this is a nightmare. They've been shot or they've been sent to Russia or something, or drunk. Independents will not give a fuck. There, I just summed it up in three.
Yeah, but I'm gonna.
ways.
But see, but everybody has their. They're gonna be able to debrief and talk about it, and I think everybody needs a place to talk about that stuff. That's why I host these spaces, so that people can give their feelings on it, because not everybody has a place to speak, and not everybody has a microphone, and I've been blessed since starting this space to build a place for me to speak, and I want everybody else to have a place to speak here with me. That's what this is about. So yeah, you're right. There will be some Democrats that are like, oh hell yeah, look at what it turned out well for us. But it's okay. I still want people to. There's still going to be people who are stewing about it tomorrow, and they're going to be pissed off, and they're going to be able to come to the Conservative Political Forum, and we're going to, Katz and I and Shiloh tomorrow, she's going to be our other co-host. We're going to give them a microphone, and they're going to be able to say a couple minutes of their frustrations or their victories, like you're saying, Brock, or I don't give a crap. Some people won't give a crap. And we're going to let them have a place to speak. But let's be honest here. This is a blow. It's a blow for a lot of Republicans who thought, man, people are finally going to speak and say what they believe our country should be, and we're finally going to speak about this. And I'm going to be honest, it's disappointing to me when a state like Washington State, where we're deep blue, can't even get back to having checks and balances. We have a governor that rules like a dictator. He just now gave up his emergency powers. California is the same way. It saddens me to.
Jesus. That long he held on emergency powers?
Yes, and California has not given theirs up. They won't give theirs up till March. You can't, Jay Inslee runs this thing like he's a dictator. Gavin Newsom runs it like he's a dictator. They don't care about the rights of the people. So we're going to give people a place to a voice, and that's what we do here. And Kelly and Mitty we'll probably host some spaces sometimes too. I've already talked to them. I mean, I think they're cool with it. I love it. I want a place for people to speak. Katz on Wednesday nights is rocking it with Reducation. She brings these kind of points for you guys to talk about. So yes, Brock, you are correct. That's what I was trying to get back to, is there will be people saying, oh yeah, this is a victory, and that's it. But it doesn't matter. I mean, if I don't give people a place to speak their minds, it's not good. So that's what I'm here to do. But let's go to who do you want to go to next, Kelly?
I think it's just Katz is the only hand I see up.
Truth had her hand up too, so let's give it to Katz, and then Truth, you can go, since Katz is a Conservative Political Forum co-host.
Well, I don't think that should put me over Truth, because she did have her hand up. So if she wanted to go first,
definitely. But I didn't know if you had something to add to the races before we go to Truth.
Well,
or we'll just come back to you. You know what? Step aside. You already gave it to Truth. Go ahead, Truth.
Hey guys, no worries. I'm happy to speak whenever. I just want to say that tonight was an eye opener. On the East Coast here, my husband and I going to support our neighbor who is opposite of us in what we voted on. And I feel like we both are trying to bridge a gap somehow with how things are going politically these days. And that's our little way that we went about doing it. But Of course, we were disappointed when we found out that he actually won. um, but still being supportive and, congratulating him and kind of biting our tongues and everything. But it's like I'm not sure. I mean, of course, I know eventually I'll move on from this and everything will be fine. But I guess I just wonder how many other people out there are there that will um, support their neighbor who runs for office when they are against
Hey,
what you believe.
Truth.
Yes.
I'm gonna interrupt. And Jason, if you don't want me to do this, interrupt me. But you've brought this up already. We've kind of talked about this. I'm going to give you the advice of give yourself some time, sleep on it tonight, give yourself a couple days. Nobody here is going to have a good answer for you. You're in a position that I think is pretty unique. And I totally get your feelings on it. I've been in that position, but it's hard to kind of give you a year's worth of advice on the night of the election. So,
True.
yeah, I get what you're saying. And I don't, I'm trying not to cut you off too much here, but we got to kind of move it along, right, Jason?
No, that's fine. Of course.
It's true. I mean, we
Can
want
I
to keep.
answer?
What?
Can
Who
I
said
give
that?
her like a little piece of advice?
That was Brock. Go ahead, Brock.
Sure, just do you have a good relationship with said neighbor? Like, is
I
it
don't talk to him at all, really. We talked. We're, in passing, basically.
try to build a relationship with them, and look at the bright side. If something ever goes wrong, you have a direct a walk away, and you can talk to them if they're approachable. And when you're building a relationship, makes it much easier to be like, "Hey, how are you?" Like, I have people who I despise, who I don't agree with at all politically, but I have good relationships with them. We just don't talk politics.
Right.
So I would go with that approach.
Yeah, it's always been that way for years. I'm just surprised that he actually ran and won. I'm just surprised.
Yep. Okay, let's go to Cats.
Thank you. So I know that you want to move on, but I've been wanting to say something on this. And
Well, you have every right to.
Truth, you sound like an absolutely lovely person. I give you kudos to you and your husband for going over to the party and congratulating him despite your feelings on what he stands for and that he could indoctrinate local children with his poison. Sorry to say, but that is true. I admire you though for being able to do that. I don't know that I could. But you inspired me because I have a segment at 8:30 tomorrow when we have our normal conservative political forum, and I was just thinking that this would be a good topic to delve into if it's okay with Jason.
You mean like a point counterpoint? Cats?
Yeah, kind of like because there's a couple different options. Like, an option would be never to say anything, because it seems like probably this guy, the neighbor, does not know the political leanings of Truth and her husband. I'm thinking.
Well, that's your segment. You can kind of do what you want with it. Remember, you only have a half hour from 8:30 to 9 on that one, so.
Correct.
So you can do
no,
it the way you want.
Okay. So it just inspired me because here's a person who, would actually congratulate the person because honestly, I don't think I could do it. But yeah, you
It
know,
was a tough pill to swallow. Trust me, it was a tough pill to swallow.
so, you know, if you can come tomorrow night to our forum, I have a segment at 8:30, and I'd love to talk about this type of situation. If you can, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I will be there. I will be there.
Thank you. Thank you for the time, because I know we're actually talking about our races and what's going on. Thanks.
So Preston's not here anymore, right? So Kelly, do you want to give us any updates on anything?
Sorry, I have not.
I have some.
Yeah, go ahead, Brock.
So in the really only two things we have is finally Arizona reported some votes. The blind nun found a nut. So don't know where the votes are coming from exactly, but Masters has cut Kelly's lead. He's down to 219,000. That was 250,000 not that long ago. And in Nevada, it's a 29,000 vote lead for Masto. And in the governor's race, it's a, well, I'm just going to pull it up here. I had it, and I lost it. It's about the old sis is up by 16,000.
Wait, Brock, what? Who's up by 16,000?
Sisolak, but I call him the sis because it sounds funnier.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, I crack jokes in political
The
crap.
sis?
No,
Welcome
I
to the
couldn't
club.
hear it.
The Canadian
Sorry.
is funny. He's funny.
Got it.
Yeah, I
Yes,
got you.
that.
That's good, Mitty. Yeah, we got some new hands, Kelly. Who do you want to go with first? Or Mitty? Should we go with who was it, Free or Michelle that had their end up?
I wasn't looking for Free.
I
You can
wasn't
go and
looking.
then Michelle.
Yeah, I wasn't looking either. Just pick Jason.
All right, we'll go Free and then Michelle.
Hey guys, so I was listening into Truth and I just have a question. Like, am I the only person here who's kind of like a little backhanded or conniving? And my first thought was if I had a neighbor that was like kind of opposing views of me, depending on how extremist they were, of course, that my first thought would be like, let's make friends with this person and see if I can sway them over the other way because now they're actually in office, because that was my first thought.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I
That's
said.
what I did.
Yep.
Perfect. That's what I did with Jordan. That's how Jordan came to my side.
Right. That's what I was like. If this
Accurate.
person was right next door, I'd be like, let's be best friends. And I'm going to slowly just like edge these things in every day and then get you to agree with me until, you know, I have somebody in office already.
Jordan really didn't know that I did that because I used to work with him, and then I kind of like I fed him the red pill as we were going and the conservative pill, and no, I'm just teasing. We had more in common than that, but we did have a lot of heated disagreements when we were working together on
Civil
political
arguments.
stuff. Yes, and
Civil arguments. We'll put it that way. But you're absolutely correct. No, you're, and really it comes down to the heart. Your heart was there. And I recognized that, and it got me to second guess a few things. And then, I mean, there were other factors that came into play too. But definitely, from a place of peace and love, from a place of understanding and acceptance, not from a place of vitriol and hate, because that'll get you nowhere.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, I want everyone to just remember, like, almost no one is a lost cause. I mean, I'm new to this side of the political spectrum since like 2020. I really would have never guessed. If you would go back and look at like my social media posts from before 2020, I would guess that no one would think I would have ever voted for Donald Trump. I mean, I was like far left, crazy, talking about literally hoping the man dies. Like, I was a nut job. I mean, 100%. And no, I'm very staunch MAGA now. So
we'll say this. Free Jordan was that way too. He did not like anything he didn't like anything that I brought up. I'm like, I listened to this. Oh, you shouldn't listen to that. And I'm like, I'd walk away going, whatever, dude. And I'd just be like, I'm going to listen to what I'm going to listen to. I'm kind of stubborn that way. But I was still, I got to know him, and we had a lot of things in common. And truly, when he left the company we worked for, we just kept in touch. And, we had a couple things. One thing that we had in common was our love for the Lord. And that made a difference for us. And Jordan now has, he's seen the light basically of, Mitty will see it someday, but I'm just teasing you, Mitty. No, he saw what was for him, because I believe there are Democrats out there that can be balanced with us Republicans, and we can have balance. It's the hate that I hate. And so, like the Conservative Political Forum, I get questions all the time. Why are you friends with Democrats? Because because we're trying to find a balance. We're not trying to hate on each other. And so that's what we're building. You can ask Mitty, you can ask Nikki, you can ask anybody that comes in here that's a Democrat. They feel safe in here to have fun and joke around, because they know that Katz and I and Kelly and Mitty, we're all going to work to get along. So that's important to us.
I think I know Mitty from another space actually a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I recognize your profile photo. Yeah, she's really nice. Just real quick for it, so I can shut up. But I had said before too, and it might sound really dumb. I keep using this quote from Last Man Standing, but it says, if nobody's talking, then nobody's listening. And if nobody's listening, then nobody's learning. Because if you're sitting there just in an echo chamber, talking to people who think just like you, I find it very strange, because how do you expect to have improvement? How do you expect to, for example, we're struggling to take over anything. How do you expect to take over the House, take over the Senate, if you're not even talking to anyone to convince them? You're just talking to people who already agree with you. It's not going to do anything for you. So it's kind of pointless.
I like
Totally
that.
agree.
Yeah, and I don't want an echo chamber. I don't want an echo chamber for the Conservative Political Forum. In fact, we have some guidelines for the forum on Wednesday nights, and they sounded like it was an echo chamber, and I said nope. I know what I want with this. I want everybody to be welcome here. So we really work to not have that. But anyways, let's move forward on election stuff. Thank you.
Jason, can I just interrupt really quick? I know Michelle is next. I have a little update from Minnesota. Brock also sent me a message. He had something very quick to add.
Yeah,
but
that's not a problem. I just don't want to go ahead.
Just really quick, I just did a count of Minnesota State Senate seats. The Republicans held a majority by one seat with two independents that were caucusing with the Republicans. So technically it was like 3 seats. The Democrats right now have 34 seats as of tonight. The Republicans have 32 seats. There are 3 seats that I can't see which way they're going, because because over half their precincts are still out. And they're way too close to call. So I just wanted to say that I'll be up for hours waiting for these precincts in these rural areas of Minnesota to come in to figure
That's
out
crazy.
if Republicans still have the state Senate. And I'm about to do a count in the House. I haven't seen anybody declare the House yet on that side for the state legislature in Minnesota. Jason, can Brock speak for 5 seconds?
Yeah,
and then we'll go to Michelle?
we'll let Brock and then Michelle. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to quickly say, Jason, thanks for hosting the space. I'm gonna go to sleep because I have to be up early. Yay! And I'm just tired. So have a good night, guys, and
Good night,
thanks
Brock.
for hosting
Good night,
the
Brock.
space.
Thanks
Wish
for hanging
the
out.
night could have been
Thanks.
better for you Republicans, but just wait till 2024 because Biden
We're
will
taking over
surely
Canada
hit.
soon. Get ready.
Oops,
All right.
Biden will surely have a depression going. Don't worry, that guy will fuck up.
Well, thank you, Brock, and have a wonderful rest. And we hope to see you in some more. Well, we'll see you in space. We always see you around. So, Michelle, welcome to the Conservative Political Forum. Any election stuff you want to talk about, or what?
Hey guys, actually, I kind of have a lot of new faces. I'm usually in spaces, but in different spots. I followed Dr. G in here. Hey, Dr. G. I don't think I've ever been into space with you, and I just wanted to say congrats tonight in Florida. I know you've been on and just talking a lot and tweeting a lot out about that, and congrats. I'm in the state of Kansas. I'm actually a born and raised South Dakotan. Spent a lot of most of my adult life in Nebraska, and now I'm in Kansas for the last 3 years. Moved into the probably the most blue county in the state, and we are definitely surrounded by a lot of blue. Of course, you know that in our primary, we had the value them both, and we voted down to it's basically a constitutional right, just like it is in California now for abortion. And our our elections were driven largely by a blue Democrat governor who kind of put herself out as a moderate, and she actually did get reelected tonight. It was very close, but I'm not disheartened because I'm a nurse practitioner. I treated COVID. I'm very much bullish on medical freedom, and I like what happened tonight from this standpoint. Um, yeah, so Eric Schmidt, some of you guys might know
Yeah,
the
let's not use the
AG.
soundboard, please. Let's not use
Oh,
the soundboard.
sorry, I don't know who. Yeah, I didn't do that. Eric Schmidt, the AG in Missouri, he is probably the foremost AG who brought suits challenging medical mandates and vaccine mandates in the nation. And he actually was Senate tonight, which is great. He's with Josh Hawley. And between his commitment over the last several months and Thomas Massey and Rand Paul and Ron Johnson hopefully narrowly being reelected, there will hopefully be some accountability for what has happened over the last 2-3 years with medical freedom in this country. I'm also excited because in Kansas we are electing, it looks like by a very narrow margin, which is kind of a miracle given that everything else kind of went blue tonight. We are electing a constitutional AG who really stands to be the next on a nationwide scale, stands to be the next Eric Schmidt, like he was in Missouri. Hopefully, I might even be talking to him personally about some issues with mandates and medical freedom and informed consent. So definitely excited about that. Some goofy stuff going on tonight, but I mean, what can we do if we're not positive? I, however, have a really quick take on Fetterman, because if you're like me, you're a head scratcher and you're just like, how could this happen? I've been doing a lot of reading lately and a lot of listening to James Lindsay of New Discourses, who talks about the infiltration of our school system with Marxism for the last 30, 40 years, really. And it makes sense from that standpoint. I listened to one of his podcasts recently, and it was on, oh gosh, the gist of it was that it makes sense. Fetterman being elected makes sense from the standpoint of he is the handicapped, oppressed, and a sea of oppressors, being us as ableists. And it's actually not only the best choice for the Marxists to vote him in, but he is the virtuous choice. So that's kind of how I'm going at it from the paradigm. I know there are a lot of other reasons, but if you listen on a typical man on the street, you know, some of these talk show hosts do man on the street. There's a lot of ill-informed voters out there. And I just think that, you know, it's kind of a watershed point for us to elect someone like Fetterman. But it was for Biden as well, in my mind. Anyway, I will kind of leave it at that. Again, thanks for letting me speak. It was kind of fun to pop in here. Some new faces.
Well, it's nice to meet you, and we are going to be doing a medical space on some other stuff. I'll probably have, if I can get Dr. G, I haven't told him about it yet, in December on some things that happen with COVID, and we would love to have your advice on the medical stuff. I'm going to try to get Texas Girl, a bunch of medical people in. So if you're able to, I'll keep you informed on that if you want.
Absolutely. Just DM me. Sure. I'd love to.
Yeah, we hold the Conservative Political Forum every Wednesday night. That's how Dr. G knows us. Sometimes he'll come in and listen in. And then we do, like, I do a late night garage space once in a while. Those are random. with the election, I've been doing a lot of those, but yeah, we'll definitely keep you informed on that. Thank you.
Hey, Jason, I just shared in the space that Michigan, I don't know what, Michigan 3rd District, which was Peter Meyer's seat before he was beat the primary, went to the Democrat tonight. So the Trump endorsed candidate that won the Republican primary, he lost. Who was it? He lost to the Democrat tonight.
Gibbs, I think is his name. Maybe.
Yes, Gibbs. You're right, Mitty. Thank you.
Don't know why I knew that.
It looks like Drazen could still. She's staying close in Oregon too. It looks like a close race there.
Yep. And then Jordan had his hand up, and then free the world.
I just wanted to say goodnight to everyone. It's 1:30 in the morning where I'm at, and I've got to be up at 6 a.m. So I am going to click off. I hope to see some encouraging things in the morning. Obviously, with some of these later results, I would at least like to see us get closer to the middle. At the very, very least, with with what it is at this point in time. But yeah, everyone in here, just know I love you as a human, love you as a brother or a sister, and I hope the best in all of your lives. And I really encourage you to continue to be a part of these spaces. I can't get on them very often just because of the time difference in my work schedule, but I know Jason personally, and he is absolutely a friend to everyone and someone who is a good sounding board. And so please feel encouraged to continue coming to these spaces, and I hope to see it grow exponentially. And yeah, love y'all. Have a good night.
Thanks, Jordan. Your comments were awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan.
Good night.
Good night.
So I'm with the way that the climate is, I'm gonna close down it in 30 minutes. So let's keep, if we can keep talking a little bit, but I don't want to hold my co-hosts. They've been very gracious. So but we can, we got 30 minutes. So at midnight my time, I'm gonna close the space. I know, Kelly, you might need to leave. If you do, I just want to thank you so much, and I look forward to you working with me some more. If you want to stick around for 30 more minutes, I would be so grateful. And same with you, Mitty. You guys are awesome. So that's up to you. But
I'll just let the space know I'm probably going to leave in a little bit. I'm getting invites from a bunch of other people who want my opinion here in Minnesota.
No problem. You do. I just wanted you to know I'm so thankful that you helped out.
And
Thanks, Kelly.
I'm grateful for the invite. Love you guys. I've loved the space tonight. It's been great. So I'll talk to all you guys soon.
Thank you.
Oh, and Jason, you have Free the World is up next, and then that other hand that's up.
Before you leave NASCAR, hey, Katz, can you tell me what you just sent me? Can you tell NASCAR that? Because we want her to be a co-host with us sometime. You there, Katz?
Oh, I just said.
Just say it. Just go ahead and say it.
I just said she. Can I say it, Jason?
Yeah. Come on now. We want to give praise to our co-hosts.
Jason, she's telling you to shut up.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep trying to say it, and then you start saying something. No, all I said was that you had done an outstanding job.
Well, thank you, Katz. I appreciate that. And I've been in a few spaces that you've co-hosted with Jason, and I take that as high praise. So I appreciate
that. Minnesota Nice, she's got that.
Yeah. Do you know that Minnesota Nice is a complete sham? Minnesotans don't like people who usually don't like people who move into the state. That's changing. But,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That Minnesota Nice crap ask people who have moved here and have been here for a while of what they think of Minnesota Nice, and they usually tell you it's a bunch of crap.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
We do try to be nice.
No offense to Minnesota, but when I move, and I am going to move someday, I'm moving somewhere where the weather's more nice and hot. I'm sick of it's cold right now, even where I live.
Yeah, let
So
me end with this. The land of 10,000 lakes also has the land of 10,000 taxes, 10,000 mandates. We are taxed and priced to death in this state. And I had said that if Tim Walz was won re-election, I am seriously considering moving out of the state. I was hoping it was going to be to Wisconsin, but Wisconsin doesn't look like it's ending up much better than Minnesota. But I have more hope for Wisconsin than I do Minnesota. Still, I gotta wait 2 years till my kids graduate from high school. But I am not staying for 7 months of cold winter and this crap that's coming from the Democrats here. So look out.
yeah, as I
Y'all
get,
All
as
stay
I
right.
get,
in New
I
Hampshire.
know.
Y'all sound like a hot mess. Just be in New Hampshire.
No, I'm not going to New Hampshire, but thank you.
All right.
right.
So thank you so much, Kelly. You're awesome. You're amazing, and we'll have you again if that's okay. So, but let's go to Free. You got something to say about the election?
Yeah, I do. I missed a lot of what went on here, so if a lot of this was already said, please excuse me. I'm sure it's been touched on with Arizona, but I'm wondering if anyone has an update on that or any thoughts on that situation. And then the second thing was, I know it's kind of bleak for some people compared to what we were maybe expecting, depending on who you talk to. But something that I was thinking about, it's not a very likely outcome, but on the off chance, let's say in 2024, that we did have a very close race. I think something that people haven't really mentioned is with the Republicans taking over the House, what would these state delegations be at that point? Because if we, for example, had taken 3 extra states in 2020, there could have been a tie and the House would have determined the president. So in 2024, there is a very, very slim chance, but that could occur. And if we had control of the state delegates, that would at least be one positive from tonight.
Thank you. Sorry, I was in a screen. I couldn't get back quick enough. What's that person's name, Mitty? I can't even say it.
Yeah,
Can you?
you're with your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you that you permitted me to come to your space. I am from Afghanistan. I am so thankful from the United States of America people, and I wish the democracy is successful in the election in America. I hope the American people ask Joe Biden why the government of Joe Biden write agreement with a terrorist group Taliban in Qatar, Doha, and the Taliban terrorist group. They killed more than 2,000 American soldiers. The soldier who kept human rights, who helped the children and the women in the battleground in Afghanistan. I wish that people ask Joe Biden, maybe not now, one day ask Joe Biden to why you get a shameful agreement by a terrorist group, Taliban, and put it more than 30 million innocent people to a terrorist group, Taliban. I hope you ask Joe Biden and other and Zolmay Khalilzad. I hope you ask. I'm from Afghanistan. I love the people of America. I read in history the people of America, the soldier of United States. They helped Afghanistan people. They fight to remove terrorist group, Al Qaeda, Taliban, and other terrorist group from Afghanistan. But at the end, the Joe Biden's government they get a shameful agreement in Doha, Qatar, and put innocent people of Afghanistan and the underhand under control of a terrorist group. I hope you ask Joe Biden one day. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. We'll just say that I'm going to mute your mic because I'm hearing a lot of noise. We'll just say that we don't like what Joe Biden's been doing. A lot of us, I don't even think some of the Democrats in our spaces like some of the things that he's done. But also, he's not there mentally, so it's the team around him, I think, that's leading some of the charge on that. Mitty, can you tell me real quick one thing you think from your side? What do you think? Do you think Joe Biden's being used as a pawn? Because I think his dementia is not. I think he has dementia.
I don't think he does. I mean, I get totally see where people see that. So like I don't completely disagree with your feelings on that. I see him as being old, a little slower, and he's kind of always been a little bit of a gaff and stutterer. So I don't see it as much as you guys, but I do know what you mean. That's pretty much all I have.
No, that's a good answer. I mean, that's fair to say, and I can see where people don't see it. I just some of the things that he says, I'm like, really, like,
Yeah.
really, like, I mean, and we're seeing it. You kind of see it with Fetterman the other day when he said that he said something, and they played the video clip, and he might have been trying to say I don't support abortion, but he said he might have been trying to say Oz doesn't or Oz is against abortion or something.
Yeah, he also said thank you and good night at the beginning of the thing. That was pretty rough.
So when you see those things, especially from a president, Mitty, I go, like I get a little bit concerned by it, but I mean that's why like I like having Democrats as friends, because Katz and I want to make sure we find common ground and get understanding for one. I mean, sometimes we don't all understand each other if we don't try to find understanding. It's the hate that doesn't happen. But with Joe Biden, yeah, I can, I go, gee, I don't know if he even remembers what happened in Afghanistan.
I'll add one other thing to it that I think is something to like kind of be aware of. So during the Trump years, the things that would come my way that I would notice and that would be in my feed and all these other things were the craziest stuff that Trump said, the most kind of like the types he baffled or said someone from history was still alive, or all these weird things that are in the same kind of vein as what you're talking about with Biden. And those are the things those are like the 80% of what I would see about him. And I wouldn't see as much of the stuff that you guys liked. And the same thing happens, I think, with Biden, is that the gaffes and everything else are going to be highlighted, just the nature of how information moves. So I think it's important to keep in mind, like, there's sometimes a kind of a weird warping of what we see in the president that's not of our party. At least that's my theory on it.
No, I love it. Those are good points and everything. So, and I like hearing from your side on that. And I like to tease you. Sometimes I'll be like, yeah, we're getting, Preston and I will tease Mitty and we'll be like, yep, she's going to be red soon. Like, we just like to tease her. We don't care. We have a friendship with her. So
totally. I don't take it. It's okay. Tease me all you want.
So let me ask you guys this as we're closing down tonight, because it seems like we're winding down. How about if I want to give certain people a chance to close down with their feelings, and tomorrow night we're going to talk about that. I know. Will you be at the forum tomorrow night listening in, Mitty?
Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to find out people's feelings, and maybe you can jump in on how you feel about your side and stuff. And I know Nikki probably will be there and stuff, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun to hear from people in the headline hour. I'm just going to do debrief hour for people, basically, because I want people to talk about it. So let's go down the list and ask some people how they're feeling after tonight, and we'll start with Katz, who's right next to me here. Katz, what are your feelings on tonight with how it's gone? You there, Katz? All right, we'll go back to Katz. She might have stepped away for a second. Let me go to Free. I'm going to ask you last, Mitty, if that's okay. Because I want to have you close out with your thoughts on it. Free, what are your feelings on tonight and how it's gone? Just kind of tell me how you feel about it.
I'm a little concerned, so I would like to be optimistic. So I'm trying to focus on the fact that we probably are taking the House, so that's an improvement. But I'm a little bit concerned when I look at the numbers, like in Arizona, and the fact that Oz still lost even after all the Fetterman fumbling and all of that. And I know people will say there's fraud or whatever they believe happened, and other people will say there wasn't. My thought is either way that sucks because either there's a lot of because either there's no integrity or people are still voting for candidates that I believe like you'd have to be crazy to vote for. So either way, I'm not very happy right now. So that's how I feel.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Colin, I'm going to go to Colin next because he's a Democrat. I want to hear how he feels about how tonight went. We're closing down with our thoughts on how tonight went, Colin. So I want to hear from you on how you feel on your side on how tonight went.
I'm shocked, legitimately. I thought the House would have been called for Republicans by now. I thought the Senate would be relying on Georgia. If we keep leads in Arizona and Nevada right now, we won't even need to worry about Georgia that much. This is insane. I legit thought this was going to be a nail biter, and it's nail biter on December. It looks like the Senate maybe won tonight by Democrats. It looks like the House is tossed. I'm shocked. I just got home, and this is just flabbergasting.
Okay, thank you, Colin. And we're gonna hear like tomorrow night. We're gonna be doing a debriefing on it, so we'll hear from people too. And you're gonna hear some conservatives that are sad and independents that somebody said earlier don't care. Which I think it was Brock that said that. And we're gonna we're gonna hear from everybody on their opinions on it. So I look forward to hearing more about what you have to say about it tomorrow night too, Colin. Let me go to Katz again because I think her mic might be working now, and let her tell me how she feels about how tonight went.
Can you hear me?
We can definitely hear you now.
Okay. It just did that weird thing again, and I guess I just had to go back to being a listener and start again. But anyway, I'm not ready to feel sad. I think that it's more at this moment confused, not that it happened, but confused more. Why did it happen? And I don't think that I felt like the Senate was going to be some kind of a big blowout. I felt like we would, maybe we would get 52 or something, so like just a little bit of a lead. I think I felt more confident about the House. And, it looks clearly like we will get the House from what I'm seeing, but also the governor seats, some of them, I have that same confusion, just more like, why? Why did it happen? I mean, we're hearing from so many Democrats that are ticked off about the way the country is, and it's just like, do you really want to continue in this same path with crazy grocery prices, crazy gas prices, a legitimate fear of how you're going to heat your house this winter? I just don't get it. That's all.
Thank you, Katz. And I get the fears, I get the understanding. I just we got to keep the faith on it and see what happens, and get hope. But I want to ask Truth now. Truth, give me your opinion on how you feel after tonight.
Hey everybody. I feel like it's still clown world. We're still living in clown world, and this is what we're gonna get as long as we vote for what people are voting on.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a clown world. I know that it feels like a blow, but we just we gotta if I think Colin said it earlier, I agree. I mean, if we don't vote, if we don't get out and vote, then we we can't win. And I think the whole election thing, I just want to say that I feel like some people talk a lot about election fraud, and then they say, well, don't vote, we got to fix the problem. Well, that doesn't solve the problem. I think if you go out and vote and you get people to vote and you tell your friends to vote and you get people out to vote, you can make a difference, and I think you can overwhelm whatever fraud you think there may be. And I know Colin said it before, and I agree with him 100% on just getting out and voting. So that's why I love my Democrat friends who have a realistic thinking of you can win if you do this. Well, and I know Mitty and Nikki, they've all said that, and so it's a blow, but the only way to see change is we first of all, we can't like give up and be like, oh, we're not going to do this. We just got to do our best. But let's go to Jeannie next and tell me how you're feeling, Jeannie, about this election. Jeannie there? Maybe she's not. Maybe she's just listening in and couldn't tell. We'll go to family. Family, go ahead and tell us how you feel about tonight and how it's been.
Well, think about it for a minute. Can you hear the mic okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. If we do take the House, it hadn't been squared yet, but we should know, this week. Then at least if we've got a decent speaker, if he'll actually do the work, then we can now start prosecuting a lot of things that Pelosi and the rest of the House were holding back. That's one of the things that can be done. And that's the only thing we can really get done at this point. The other question, I just want to toss it out there because you're wrapping things up. I ask a lot of people what our national motto is, and about 90 to 95% of the people don't know it. Do you know what it is?
E pluribus unum.
No. It was changed in 1957. That's what a lot of it used to be. It was changed into "In God We Trust," which has been on our money since the 1800s.
That is actually not true. It was just put in our money in 1957. It's always been E pluribus unum.
No, check into it. I guarantee you. The money was since the 1800s. I saved coins on purpose with that because it's all stamped with the "In God We Trust." Now, my point is, if you do that, that's what America's been for many, many years, since the 1800s, actually. You will find a sense of peace, and you will find what America's about. And once you do that, you'll start seeing things change. You don't do that, they won't. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
I agree with that. In God we trust, but there's so many people that don't even believe in God. So that's another story for another time.
Yeah, we'll do, we can definitely get into that at some point. I'm a man of faith, and I close this space in prayer, which I'll be doing soon. So, if you don't mind sticking around, you can. I'd love to have you stick around for the prayer. But, Colin, can you tell me what E pluribus unum actually means? Because I'm oblivious to that.
Out of many, one. Basically, it signifies how we originally 13 colonies and we came together to form one country. And it's really showing that we are many people, but we formed together to have one unity, and that is us as Americans.
Thank you, and I appreciate the history on that. And see, I love coming to Colin for history stuff. He's a smart kid, and we're honored to have him hang out with us and give us that stuff. I'm sure his mom Mitty would say that too.
Yeah, and his grandma. Cats.
Yeah, and his grandma cats, great grandma cats.
Great grandma cats.
Okay, so let me go to see if Jeannie. I'm gonna give her one more shot to see if she's on the mic to tell us how she feels about tonight. If not, I'm gonna go to Mitty, and then we're gonna close tonight, but we'll be back tomorrow night. So, Jeannie, are you there? Okay, she's not. Mitty, you get to be the final word on this. I'll close us in prayer, and then we'll be back tomorrow night to have fun with the Conservative Political Forum. Give me your thoughts on tonight from your perspective?
So kind of back to what I said earlier tonight, that we seem to be destined to be a 50-50 country, and if the results are what they look like they are, we are still that 50-50 country. And I think the lesson of that is that no party is going to be able to control the other half of the country. We have to work together. We have to hear each other. And I think we worry about winning too much and not about actually getting things done together, because I think both sides or all the perspectives are important. If we don't have all of our points put into the mix, then we're going to make bad decisions. So all of you are important, and I'm glad you're here telling us how you feel about stuff.
That's really good. Thank you, Mitty. I love hearing that. And like always, I know I say it all the time, but I really appreciate you being a part of our forum a lot and being a part of all of our community. So we all talk, communicate a lot, and have fun, and so it's really good. So with that being said, by the way, Free, we're glad that you came here tonight. You're always welcome to the forum. We hope that you have found a home with us, having fun. We have a lot of fun, right, Cats?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it definitely
So,
seems more active than the other ones. More people talking.
yeah, wait till we have this. It's like a radio show on Wednesday nights. We have like different segments and stuff. It's a lot of fun. I just like doing it that way. What do you, actually? I want to ask Mitty. Mitty, what do you think? Does it feel like a radio show to you when we do it on Wednesday nights?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. I like to just switch it up and stuff and have fun. But anyways, all right, enough with that for now. We'll be back tomorrow, but let me close us in prayer if that's okay, and then we will reconvene tomorrow.
Yeah, when we pray, can I just throw out there, I hope we all think a little bit extra about Arizona because it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, we can do that. Father God, I thank you for everybody here tonight and everybody that was here. And I thank you, Lord, that the disappointments for some people, I just pray that you would bring them peace. Let's remember to keep the faith, Lord. And I just thank you that you're protecting everybody and the people that are partying like Nikki, and that they are safe, and that everybody is safe out there, the ones that are celebrating their wins tonight. And I just thank you that you're watching over every one of us. And we know that you have us in your hands and that you're taking care of us. And we just thank you that everybody sleeps well tonight and is able to, have a wonderful day tomorrow in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Jason. Thanks, Cats.
No problem. See you guys. See you guys tomorrow.
Thanks,
Amen.
Mitty.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, Mitty. Good job.
Thank you, Cats. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good night, Grandma. Good night, Mom.
Good night,
Good
son.
night,
Do your homework.
grandson.
Bye.